Can't hear anything.
Where's the sound?
Unmute yourself, Mike.
Absolutely.
We gotta move on.
Okay.
We got it, everything in consideration. Let's see what happens on the 15th and, if it's not resolved, then come back and see us.
Okay, Brad.
That's what I say. But we gotta move on, three minutes.
Absolutely.
All right. I understand.
Okay, so
Thanks
we
for your
have,
time.
okay, Tony or Mike.
You want to let somebody else go?
Okay, we can go with Tony then. Tony,
Hey, I just want to make it aware to the public, taxpayers and everything. Mike was let go, whatever reasons, no reasons were given yet. It's gonna be on the agenda tonight or not. But a person was brought in voluntarily, which is she's able to see the computers and everything, which is unjust. And I don't know why we're bringing people in voluntarily. And it's not right. And I just wanted to make everybody aware of it.
hmm,
Things that are going on. There's a lot of stuff going on, but that's not right, but it is what it is.
okay, thanks. Mike Hott.
So, good evening, Michael Hodder, and Mr. Graham. As always, I come before you tonight by right in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. May the Holy Spirit guide us this evening to him, the only truth. In the book of Matthew, one of the Pharisees, a political figure of the time, tested Jesus with the question, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" And Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind." This is the first and greatest commandment. The second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. I missed the Martin board meeting. I was out of town for taking care of sick parents, but the people learned that some owners of a local business were subjected to repeated harassment by the people that were elected to serve them. The bond agency, which is nothing more than crime insurance for the state should there be violations of the people's inherent rights, denied the claim filed by the board because the members of the previous administration engaged in acts deemed outside of their official capacity while wielding the power of the state. They acted methodically and maliciously against their constituents, making claims which the business owners were forced to expend tremendous resources to defend themselves. When the board was given the opportunity to make them whole, some of the elected officers insisted the business owners grant global immunity to both boards as part of the settlement. The owners acquiesced out of exhaustion, wanting to put the entire ordeal behind them. The board members who swore an oath to protect the people's rights also demanded a gag order so that no one was allowed to speak of the corruption. The supervisor, clerk, and treasurer serve the people in functionary roles. It is the primary job of elected trustees to ensure the aforementioned are doing their jobs in a manner that does not violate the people's inherent right to life, liberty, or property. Trustees from the previous administration not only failed to speak out against the corruption as it occurred, but condoned it, and then participated by covering it up and demanding immunity for all the public servants involved. In Trump versus United States, the Supreme Court made clear that unofficial acts are those performed without constitutional authority. And when unofficial acts are performed by government servants, those servants are acting on their own in a private capacity, and those servants have no immunity. To quote directly, the decision reads, "There is no immunity for unofficial acts." While the business owners may have acquiesced, granting immunity, there is no such order from the people. We will no longer allow this type of corruption or naked aggression of public servants against whom they voluntarily entered into servitude. As Alexis de Tocqueville once noted, in America, the people are a master who has to be pleased to the greatest possible degree. You must uphold the oath you took upon entering office and begin serving the people righteously and protecting the people's rights at all costs. Calling on you for repentance or for you to peacefully resign, so we may elect officers that will protect the people's rights. May God bless each one.
Thanks, Mike. Jenny Gallagher. There she is.
I'm trying to convince, I'm not the kind type of person to speak up in meetings like this, but it just has to stop. During the January 14th board meeting, a motion was made to have the treasurer and assessors swap offices, providing the treasurer with the security of having a locked office and eliminating the inconvenience to other employees of being denied the break room. The motion was unanimously, approved by a vote of the board. It has not happened yet. This brings into question what other items that have been approved in board meetings only to then be ignored and not implemented. How are the residents supposed to have any confidence in any decisions made by the board? I understand the treasurer needs to have a locked office. I would want that as well. But it does not mean that they get to lock others out from having a break area. We have 2 elections coming up. We will have workers here that are working 12 to 15 hours and need and deserve an area to get away from the public eye, eat their lunch and take a break, as do all township employees. The treasurer made this decision to take over the break room without input from the board or other employees, and it needs to be resolved. Again, the remedy was unanimously voted on and approved at the January board meeting and still hasn't happened. Now I understand that you all have agreed that she could stay as long as her door remains unlocked and people can come and go and use the sink. This is not what was voted on. This is not acceptable resolution to the issue, as it opens the door for more issues. The only reliable resolution is to move offices. The treasurer gets a secure office, the employees and election workers get their break room back, and any employee accepting cash or checks over the counter has access to a secure location to deposit funds. The board needs to ensure this move happens. I see on the agenda more requests for additional monies for the treasurer's office. I expect the board to consider their fiduciary responsibilities regarding additional spending. The township residents deserve a proper treasurer's report and bank reconciliations to be done monthly. It's been 6 months. Okay, residents need to have clear and proper communication regarding their tax issues. They deserve to have their issues resolved promptly and to be treated respectfully. I would hope that you will ensure that we are getting the services we deserve as residents of the township and are already paying for before you agree to additional funds. It seems that more energy is spent looking for ways to disrupt the township than is spent doing the job the treasurer was elected to do. Nothing personal at all. I don't have anything against you. I don't even know you.
Exactly.
But if you're not doing your job, it needs to stop. We don't need fancy decorations for every holiday. We need a treasurer that can work with others to get the township business conducted in a timely and efficient manner. Lastly, I want to talk specifically to the trustees. You also have a fiduciary responsibility to what's going on in the township. The lack of accountability is troubling. You need to educate yourselves as to what is going on in this township before it's too late and we encounter even more fines and charges. Okay, I'm a resident part-time employee and I'm also concerned, and you should be as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, one more.
Okay, so I'm also a resident of Columbus Township. I've been going to the meetings or watching them on Zoom.
What's her name?
I have some concerns. My name is Linda Smith. So yes, I am Brad's wife. I'm not one to come up here either. I just kind of let you guys do your thing. But I am troubled by a couple of things. I only have 3 minutes, so I'm gonna just address one thing. I feel like the board needs to be setting boundaries. The township elected 3 officials, correct? A supervisor, well, and the trustees, of course. But you're all elected officials. You all have your own jobs and your own duties, correct?
Correct.
I feel like those people should be responsible for their duties. I don't think that you should be getting into his, or you should be getting into his, or he should be going into yours. You all have your own responsibilities, your own duties that you were elected for, and I feel like the board needs to be setting those boundaries as to who gets to do what and who's accessing what. If something is someone's responsibility, I feel like that person should be responsible for that. And other people shouldn't be saying, well, I want that. I want that. I want to get into that. That is, I think tonight, you guys should all be setting boundaries as to who's responsible for what. And those people should be responsible for those jobs and and only those jobs. That's how I feel. Like, I just feel like too many people want their hands in other people's things. And that should not be happening.
All right, thanks. Okay, communications. Nothing. With the board? Anything?
We are supposed to ask people on Zoom if they want to speak.
We just gave them the chance to speak.
Well, I think they're muted, so they can't.
The Zoom, I don't know, can you ask anybody else? They didn't,
I think they've been having issues hearing.
they didn't take a request for them, but yeah, we can.
Yeah.
They can hear now. Does anyone on Zoom want to make a public comment? There is a hand raise function.
No?
I don't think so.
All right, we'll move on. Approval of the agenda. Anybody have any objections to the way it was written out here today? Or anything on the agenda? If not, then let's
I'll make a motion to approve the
make a
agenda as
motion.
presented.
Anybody second?
A second.
Okay, let's take a vote. Jared,
Yes.
Stan,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Angie,
Yes,
Brad, yes. All right, so motion passes. Agenda is approved. And we'll start with routine business. Approval of the minutes from April 8th, 2025 and April 17th, 2025. So. I don't have it. This is January. I'm good with them. I already looked at them, but I've been through this book enough. All right. So I have nothing. I've looked through them, and anybody else do their homework? Both of them?
yeah, we're probably doing individually.
Gotta do individually.
I'll make a motion to approve the April 8th minutes.
April 8th minutes, okay, motion, any seconds?
I'll second.
All right, then we'll have a vote. Stan,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Angie,
Yes,
Brad, yes. Okay, so that's the 8th of April and the 17th. Any objections to that, those minutes?
Yes. We don't have, Mike's letter in these minutes that he asked us to put in.
I never got a copy.
I thought he gave us a copy that night.
So what did you want to do with it then?
Add it to the minute.
But he just, it says he presented a letter requesting to
You've
be on
already-
the May agenda, which is what we did.
No, requesting to be on the May agenda because he wanted to have an appeal. And we're
That's in these
missing the,
minutes.
we're missing the appeal letter. And he also asked for the local
So,
sheriff.
so he writes
They're not
the,
here.
he writes the appeal. Where's that letter?
Everyone received it, but did make copies just in case. You guys don't have it.
So he wanted the sheriff here.
Yep.
Well, that can be, he can call that in himself if he wants to do that. Anybody can call the sheriff to come to the meeting.
You guys might as well keep the packets, because it has the rest of the updated treasurer's report. Oh.
So,
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah.
All right, so. We did what was on the minutes. I already had one, I don't think, but I don't know what all this other stuff is. Hmm. Yeah, I've got a copy. All right, so everybody's got the copies. Are we approving it now?
Are you gonna put Andrew, you're gonna put the letter into the minute?
I'll put, after this, I'll put a letter.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, so we approving this?
Motion to approve it as with correction.
Any
With
seconds?
addition of letter.
Yeah, with the additional letter, any seconds?
A second.
Is that Jared?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jared, okay, vote, Stan,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Angie,
Yes.
Brad, yes. Okay. Okay, then treasurer's report is next on the list.
So
Treasurer's report.
this was the county disbursement. This one. You probably don't. You should have one in your packet of this one and then the new one. So,
The only thing I have is this.
yep, that's what you, that is the.
Oh, that's the same one?
Well, that's the disbursement for, of the taxes, what we actually,
That's the one to the
collected
county.
Yeah, this is.
and what we
you
sent to
think.
the county. Just so you can see it.
Okay, and this is,
And then that is the report that for the end of the month that Brad likes, so.
do you think in the future, instead of putting for Brad for Columbus Township, you could put treasurer's report? That seems very more professional.
Well, I had it like that so I could remember which report it was in the computer, but that should be fine.
Well, I don't know what you want to discuss about that. We haven't
Well,
had
it's
time
just-
to look it
Yeah,
over.
say,
I mean-
yeah, and it would be nice, like, if we could get this, when we get the rest of the packet, so we can look at it.
All right,
Yeah,
so we'll,
Okay, so we're just gonna do an FYI thing then?
yeah, that's all. we can
Okay.
do.
it's just
So-
all of our numbers up to date. Oh, but I do have, well, let me see if I put that.
Mhm.
Do you want, to talk about the CDs right now, right here?
No,
Okay.
that's something you guys should be doing in the office.
Well,
Well, no, they have to be voted on by the board.
they do.
Well,
when-
get
when
it
we re-
together and get your research done, then bring it to the
There,
board.
there is two that will be up for renewal,
Before the next board meeting?
yes. So,
Do you have your name on those CDs? Or is it
uh,
still in Phoebe's name?
I think the Huntington one is not in my name. The Genesis one is, and, the North Star
Is,
is, yeah, sorry, is,
is in your
And-
name?
yes.
How did you do that? I didn't sign anything with me.
I don't know, I went in there and signed it, they have a card for you.
Oh, I know, but every other time I had to go and,
They said we didn't have to go together.
okay. So which one is up for?
So that one is up on 6/12/25.
When's our
It
next
is
meeting?
at 3.95%.
When's our next board meeting?
Not really sure. I didn't look.
The 10th. So if it
Oh,
comes
so
up,
we can come.
yeah, so you can bring it to that
Yep.
meeting, just make sure we put it on the agenda, and then you have. What did Stevie usually give us, Stan? The balance and the rates, correct?
Yeah.
The time, the length of the rate, every different time frame, like 3 months, 3 years, whatever, and the rates that went with it, and then we had the board voted.
Okay,
And get like. Check with 3 or 4 banks, see what the rates are.
Just remember, you have to try to stay at a bank we don't already have, because we only have that 250,000 that we're insured for. So if you need to go to a different bank, you have to make sure it's something we don't already have in the
well,
account.
we can do that.
Except if we did that CDAR.
CDARS, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, we can do the CDARS where they do
They
that
disperse that for us.
and
Yeah.
it stays the way it should. We get the highest amount of
Yeah.
money back. That
So
was,
you'll have that first.
I'll have that. That's kind of what I was gonna talk about in later on.
All right, so we can move on.
That was just.
All right, so we'll go to the check register and bills. What do you have for us, Angie, on that?
We have all of these, I don't know if anybody has any questions on any of these.
What is the BSNA software computer services for 1520?
It should be in there.
Yeah, it doesn't say what it's for, it just says BSNA software.
Which one is it? Where on the list?
Right above the Cintas one.
Okay.
Yeah, it says permit application.
Oh, that's building, that's for the building department. For the computer services to keep that,
So,
because
We-
here, permit application and then assessing, and then the $663, if you look on the invoice, it's for the annual support for taxes.
so we only paid this amount to them once a year?
Well, there's other, we still.
Well, I know we pay
Yeah,
other, but
yeah,
I'm.
this is for your,
fees-
this is for your taxes, your annual fee. This, $803 is the annual fee for assessing, and that $54 is so that Justin can take minutes online.
What was the nonprofit postage permit?
That's for me to get, like, I'm gonna have an election, I can mail out my ballots and my, notices and get the nonprofit rate, but I have to pay $350 a year to keep that nonprofit status. But in last year, I saved, well, I think it was about $1,200 in postage by having that. So even if you take the 1,200 and subtract the 350, it's still way money.
That's significant savings.
Yeah, so that's what that is. That's a yearly fee. We did try to do it for taxes, but because it's not nonprofit, it really didn't save us any money.
Okay, and then, Brad's mileage. It's 29 miles twice to Verizon, and I'm wondering how come you didn't go to the Richmond Verizon?
They wouldn't do it there,
They wouldn't change the address to the township in Richmond.
so they made me drive out there twice.
And we.
And I will note that's the only mileage I've ever claimed. So
Okay.
take it for what it's worth.
Well, you got on me when I was going to the Memphis post office, it was 1 mile, so. You know, good for me, it's good for you, so. And then, no supervisor phone bills. Again,
Because, oh, I thought I put it in,
I gave it to you.
yeah, right here, right at the very last one.
yeah, but there's no proof of it.
I gave it to you last one, and you guys turned it down, so I didn't print it out.
Yeah, but the amount is different now.
Oh, you're right, I'm sorry.
There's
'Cause I
one more
added
month
another
on the
month
bill.
payment. But I can
So-
give you guys a copy of that last statement. I'll email you guys all a copy of the last.
And we
statement.
also asked what happened with the old phone from the supervisor. Where's the credit?
And then you got his.
Well, we need to have paperwork showing the credit for
We
that.
do, she has all the paperwork, we've been
guys
through all
got
that
that
before,
paper.
Stan.
You got everything, but I do apologize. I forgot to add the last bill that you gave me last week.
She's got everything.
But everything else you guys got last month when you said you wanted him to change it over, and then he changed it over. So the
Yeah,
next
so
bill should come to.
We need to see proof of that, though.
Oh,
And the last bill, I believe, was $414, and now this one's $578. It shouldn't be that much money a month,
It's not,
so.
it's not that much a month.
I'll go grab it.
Okay.
No, don't worry about it. Let's just move on. Wait till next month.
I will,
We'll go ahead and just
But I
add the
have
next
to.
month on it.
we have to void this check again. I voided last month's check. Or I can
Just-
email everybody the documentation tomorrow.
No.
Well, do
that's
that
what
and
you'll
then,
do.
then we can just
Then
add.
I'm going to go get it, because I want this to be done.
I can, it doesn't matter, but.
I need the charger for this too, it's gonna die.
Oh,
Is it your office?
okay, let me get the charger. What's on the charger? I told you before, so.
Look at this, I'm like, that way that battery's gonna last through all that.
Waytech,
Water.
Watech, it's what, 2 months?
No, he was in an accident, so he's got some medical issues right now. I thought he was gonna make it today, but he's not. So. Not gonna be in there.
Where does it show where the credit is for the former phone?
Well, that was on the very first bill, which you already have all those copies. I gave them to you last
Months
month and the
ago.
month before.
There was nothing on there showing it. We just know it was $136.58 a month. But there was no credit showing on there what the value of the former phone. There should have been a credit on it.
And this doesn't say anything about the bill.
You're right. That's what they did a screenshot of. Like I say, if you wanna wait for the bill next month, this is all just a waste of time, in my opinion. Let's move on.
Okay, then, all right, voiding the check.
You want to check the bill sent to this address, it will be next month, so then you can go back and pay the $1,000 by the time it adds all up.
So
I
we're
don't
still
care,
gonna
it
have to
doesn't matter.
reimburse you this month. So we're going to do, I have to do
Just
six
do the mileage and give me that and be done with it.
void
We need to move on here.
check.
People have lives, they wanna do things.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve checks 5252. 52 to 5298. And electronic checks. You'll see this DTE one, that's an electronic check of 152. Is because I had to go to the bank and get a cashier's check because they would not accept a check. Because we were 3 months late on our bill. So that's an electronic check that we have 152 to 156 electronic. Totaling, I have to subtract. Totaling 59,711.34.
You're omitting 52.99.
Yes,
So you're all good with that?
is anybody going to support?
I support.
Okay, take a vote, Jared.
Yes.
Stan.
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Angie,
Yes,
Fred, yes, good with that, okay. Assessor's reporting. Basically the same thing, everything's going well. Right? Old business. Let's move on to that. Estimates from trustees for lawn and furnace and porta potty. So, the duties were to get lawn and snow estimates from you guys, the trustees, and, what do you have for us?
Just one.
Should have. Okay,
So nothing was different. There was a $5 difference.
about 10.
I mean, you explain it, you guys.
Yeah,
you
the
do
lawn
it
is about $10 cheaper
For a new place.
Yeah,
for the new. service
That's the one you got.
Yeah.
All right, what estimate did you get,
I
Stan?
got for the toilets for the park.
All right, what'd you get for the lawn?
I didn't get anything because the only one contractor I talked to in Armada, he was not interested in doing cemeteries.
So one almost estimate. Okay, porta potties. What do you got for the porta potties?
We got two, one from Cormick Services in New Haven and one from Carl Septic. And they're within $5, I think. One's at 180 and 185. And it doesn't matter to me which one we want to go
So
with.
what is that, a month or what?
On a per month
Explain
basis.
explain to the people what they're
That's
thinking.
gonna be a ADA porta potty to put down at the park for this season until we can figure out how we can get funding to build a so-called expensive toilet that will make the requirements.
Well, I do remember Bruce bringing it to our attention early, back last summer when we discussed this. And he told us that he had talked to the health department and they advised against us putting portable toilets next. to
As a
the river.
long-term thing, you wanna go another season with all them improvements down there, you go by there, sometimes there's 20 cars there. You know, and there's people that are, I talked to a guy that fishes down there from the Treehouse Party Store, and he goes, there's people that are exposing themselves down there. So. I think for this season, let's go with this porta potty, put it up near the parking area. We're gonna build a pavilion there. You know, that, when that water, that 4.5 inch rain happened here about a month ago, it came close to the parking lot, but it didn't quite reach it. So I don't think there would be an issue. If we get that kind of amount, you know, and a porta potty is minimal. There's less than 20 or 25 gallons of the fluid and they pump it out weekly. So how much is actually gonna be in there?
So my other question to you is, how long is this for? This says through May through December.
Yeah,
Why would we would have the porta potties there in the winter? Nobody, the codes are that much that it would be worth spending.
Well, I'm sure we can take it off.
yeah, we can end it in the end of November, but I thought it gets used, the weather's decent enough. Maybe December.
We've had pretty good Decembers the last couple of years, so.
But we need to look into funding to see if there's any way we can get grants to help with that $100,000 toilet. Where's that money gonna magically come from?
Well, that's a good job. You can start researching. You got time. You can start researching it and bring us some quotes and something else that, or something from the government.
Well,
wherever.
I don't know how to pursue grants.
Well, then I guess we gotta learn, Stan.
What, you know, the last supervisor got all the grants that we needed for down there at the park.
So what kind of grants were those?
Huh?
They paid for all that part?
They paid for a lot of that down there.
So what specifics do you have that, you know, the grants that we got? You know? of
It
any?
was, I think it was 4 or 5 different grants totaling close to $750,000 in grant money when they cleaned the river up. And then, you know, we did use some ARPA money for the trails and, you know, we're gonna build that pavilion. But a majority of the river cleanup, so they could canoe and kayak down it. That money came from grant money. So we gotta find out how to
Well,
pursue grants.
there are some grants we're working on now, but. We have to have some paper follow-up stuff with that, so we'll,
To use at the park or?
well, it can be used anywhere, the grants. I mean, you don't have, right now, it's not specific on what you're using the money for, but. There's still more, I gotta get information on some of that stuff, but I need some other information from the town hall here. So,
All right,
anyway,
Well,
so you're talking how much a month?
for the porta
For a
potties,
porta potty, how much a month? What, you want 2 of them now, male, female, or just one?
just get one, an ADA, American Disability, so it's gonna be one of those bigger ones.
And how much is that again a month?
185, 180 and 185 are the quotes
And you're saying they clean it out by the week,
by the week.
and you have any paperwork for this?
Yes,
This one here, somebody wrote on. here.
I wrote on it because it didn't say how many times on here, so I called there. And, that's.
I don't
one
recall
week-
getting any of your
Yeah.
information here, but.
Did you ask them if they?
this one is from
Says-
Cormac,
It comes, yeah, it
and
comes
this
with
quote
hand
came from
sanitizer.
Carl Septic out of Yale. And they're very reputable.
That's only including 1 week of.
Okay, so price wise, they're both the
I
same,
didn't know if in the-
180,
185.
185.
So,
Okay,
it was
No
extra,
no matter what.
it
Well,
was the extra 30
that's-
bucks to do an extra.
You wanna look in? Okay.
I don't know, you guys wanna make a motion, or you wanna wait till next month, or?
So one at a time here, since we can't just unilaterally approve all this.
Right,
We want to make a motion to hire Stafford once again, because the other company does not do snow. We've stayed with Stafford's been the best price. Mike checked around before. We got D&E and other prices, and there. no
it
one can
is.
compete
It's
with
hard
them.
to, most of your
Yeah.
bigger companies are
And
doing
because we
commercial
didn't
work.
sign last month, I can't get the cemetery mowed. We've had a complaint because it was Mother's Day and the cemetery wasn't mowed. I need to put my flags out for the military veterans that I do every year for Memorial Day, and the grass is like this.
Yeah.
We have to get it done.
All right, I'll make a motion that we continue with Stafford for another year for the grass mowing and the snow plowing.
Seconds,
I'll support.
all right, Angie supports, all right, go ahead, stand vote,
Yes,
Jared,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Angie,
Yes.
Brad, yes, okay, motion passes. Stafford's
Don't
still in
miss my
business,
Contract, I've got them in there.
all right, we'll do that later,
And then.
and then the porta potty,
Let's do the
what do you guys
heating.
wanna do with that? I mean, do you think it's necessary right now, you wanna wait and discuss it again, or
No.
think about it, or
No,
what?
I gotta do it now, it's getting warm.
Yeah.
All right, what do you wanna do, what's the motion?
I'll make a motion that we use Carl Septic out of Yale.
I'll second.
All right, take a vote, Jared,
Yes.
Stan,
Yes,
Kim,
Yes.
Angie,
No,
Brad? Yes. Maybe it'll stop the exposure.
All
right. File stay in the office, that was something I put in there, no,
But the maintenance agreement for the heating.
Oh.
We have Superior and Jared got a
Oh,
quote
furnace.
here for the furnace and air conditioned fall and spring. Much better price. I'm gonna
all right,
make a
so you got
motion.
that one?
I'm gonna make a motion to go with this quote that Jared got for Airworks.
Is that the only one you got? Did you get a quote for furnace?
no,
Okay, so that's all we got to deal with. How much is that one?
Airworks is $350 a year and Superior's $567, so
All right, so you're making a motion to go
I
with
make a
the-
motion to use Airworks.
any seconds?
I'll second.
All right, vote, Stan,
Yes,
Jared,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Angie.
Yes.
Brad, yes, motion passes. All right, I just had a thing about files stay in the office. I just want to remind everybody that taking privy information home is not right. And should stay in the office. Again, no unauthorized people and no pets in the office right now.
Cause you're talking about me, so.
Anybody,
Well.
it's not just, I never said your name, I just said
No,
anybody.
that's what you're talking about.
Personal files and things like that should stay in the office. Angie has a whole file, bunch of files in her office. I'm just telling
I would like to
everybody,
finish my
reminding
conversation.
everybody.
So I will be taking files home when I want to organize or put together all of my training materials, stuff like that. It's not taking home personal files of people. It's my own my personal.
Personal files is what we should stay in the office. Your own stuff, take home.
Okay.
There's no issue with that. But unauthorized people and pets in the office, we have no, you know,
I want to.
we went over that before, but, you know,
That's
it
right.
was already stated that. And it was voted on no unauthorized people.
The
so-
unauthorized people motion.
What motion?
What are you,
There
what are you
is no
saying now?
motion.
What?
Nobody made a motion. He's just saying an FYI.
No, there was a motion for that.
When? Just
Back-
now?
No,
No,
I can't rescind a motion from a previous.
Okay, then I wanna make a new motion to, every person in this office is responsible enough to decide who can come in their office and who can't come in their office. I don't see anybody, bringing in homeless people off of the side of the road. But if you need someone to talk to or someone to resident, then you should be authorized to be able to do that.
If you need who?
Anybody, if you wanna bring a resident in to talk to them, anyone.
Well, yeah, okay, so if it's business, yeah. But if it's just loitering and being comforting or being companionship, I mean, why?
Oh.
I mean,
Well, it's not really,
we voted back then that, you know, you had to have authorized people. We voted back then that, you know, people shouldn't be just running all around the back rooms and taking over the area. All right,
and
so now we're
nobody-
now we're not gonna stand by our word on that again, just like Jennifer said.
Has
Jen,
that ever happened
No.
before?
yes,
It's never happened before.
yes, it has.
No.
One
has
meeting,
not.
one
Okay,
meeting
number
before we
one.
came in.
We're having our board meeting.
One meeting I came in here and there's 3 people sitting or standing in that office over there, our office area, that were unauthorized people talking to each other. Now, why they're there and the doors were open, I don't know, but they're not supposed to be back there. The public is not supposed to be back in that office. That's all I'm trying to stress here. Keep the people out that don't belong there. If you got business, fine. There's no issue with that.
And
All
then,
right, so
then who, just answer this, if I have to get written permission from you to have someone in my office, which is what the motion says, who do you gotta get written permission from? Cause you have people in your office all the time.
I'm doing business. I'm
And
doing
so am
interviews.
I.
I'm doing,
Don't mind, who are you to say that?
Okay.
Your business is more important than business, Brad?
so what business is your granddaughter doing in here? What,
It's not my
she
granddaughter.
working for you or something or what? All right.
It's not
All right.
So.
I don't want to argue about it. All I want to do is make my point.
And I'm
We
making my
voted on that. We should stick to what we voted on as a board. This is part of the problem with some of the residents were saying. We don't stick by our word. We vote on something and then we just change our mind.
No, we
You know?
don't just change our mind, we make a.
All right, so
motion
let's
after
move on.
maybe It was possible that. at
We
the
made the
beginning,
motion and we voted
did
on
it.
certain issues and they're not being
you
followed.
Quit cutting me off.
And I
So
want
I
to
make
leave
a
it at that.
motion to allow the head of each department to decide who can come in their office and who cannot. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All right, vote. Stan,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes,
Angie,
No,
Jared.
More clarification, didn't we just state that if it's business matters, you have no issue with that?
No,
Yeah.
if it's business,
And not business matters, they shouldn't be back.
right? The
well,
people
I
I,
worked 11 hours the other day and had my husband bring me some dinner because I was here for 11 hours. I feel like I should be able to have him in my office for 15 minutes to bring me dinner. And that's what he's talking about, unauthorized people. So.
I'm not saying any issue
Yes,
or any
you are.
particular instance.
So,
I'm not
I'm
saying.
just saying, that's what I'm saying, is yes, it's gonna be business, but once in a while, it's
Kim-
not.
Kim, realistically, you could come and sit in here with your husband. You could go in that room back there with your husband.
But then I have to stop working, Angie, to do
Well, if
that.
you're stopping to eat and you need a break from 11 hours, that's totally understandable. But making it where he can come in, I don't feel the need to have anybody come in. And if I'm working on election day and I'm here for 17 or 18 hours, I still don't have anybody come back there.
Well,
But you make a good point, you know, if you want your dinner brought in, come on out in here and sit down. Sit down in here and have your dinner, take a break from your work, relax, get your stuff together, eat, and go back to work.
Or
It's
you
pretty simple, but
eat while you work. 'Cause
Okay, true.
Well,
But does it have to sit with you?
vote's up to you. Okay, no,
He said no.
would you vote no?
I voted no.
I vote no, motion does not pass. All right, evening hours. This was an issue we were gonna keep discussing as far as if we want to keep the evening hours on Wednesday. maybe change it to Thursday or just get rid of the evening hours. The input is, well, there's not many people coming in the evenings. Is it worth being open? What do you guys think? You want to leave it the way it is, or you want to change it and go back to days, or what do you want to do?
Leave it the way it is.
I think we just let it ride till maybe July or so, because now the weather's getting better, projects are gonna start coming up. More
So you
permits are
wanna
gonna.
leave the.
All right,
Well, yeah, leave it how it is and just,
Kim usually is here on Wednesday.
and just see how it goes, because you're gonna start getting more activity. People coming
Okay.
up, work time. to get things-
I'm fine with that.
That's
I mean, okay.
So evaluate in July.
Yeah, evaluate July and see if we're getting more traffic.
So do you want to leave it on a Wednesday? You want to do it on a Thursday? What's up with that?
Wednesday's been working, I think.
Yeah.
So, and
Wednesday's
then,
good.
and then we'll discuss it in July.
Yeah,
Okay. So
Okay.
need no vote on that stuff.
No, I guess we're just gonna.
All right.
Do you wanna vote or we just all leave? it?
No, it's
Okay,
already
that's
in,
fine.
in place, so we don't need to
Okay.
vote on it again. All right, so we have Michael Spanik on the agenda here. You guys, I don't know what you wanted, but what is,
Well,
what
you're
did you guys
supposed
want to
to
bring up?
bring your reasoning for getting rid of.
All right, first of all, I don't have to give the reason. And let me read this from the handbook that you got the first week of all our jobs and duties. And it says, at will employee employment, all non-elected employment is considered at will. Okay, at will. As such, the supervisor or the township board reserve the right to terminate employees at will with or without cause at any time, with the exception of deputies. Okay, I rest my case. That's all I gotta say.
Hold on.
Don't hold on nothing. You gotta wait your
Yes,
turn.
This is about me, so
You're
you're
right.
gonna hear me out.
You're right. It is about
That's
you.
right,
And I'm not
exactly.
saying you didn't do your
have
job.
This document,
Just shout.
well, I have to over him.
This?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you don't. This isn't
Township.
the one I was given when I was hired.
Just-
That's not it.
This is the updated one or whatever. This is what I got.
That's not the one.
I don't know what you wanna
that I
argue about.
agreed to when I took this job.
Mike, I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm not saying you didn't do your job. Okay,
Go.
okay. I told you before. One was insubordination.
What?
All right.
Give me some instances.
I'm not gonna argue with about anything. All right. I have the right, according to this book, to hire, to fire and hire you, period. Okay, without
No, you don't.
any reason.
Mr.
All right,
He
Steve,
is.
tell him what the right to work state is all about.
It's
This is the government.
At will employee,
He was hired by the board.
No, he wasn't.
Yes,
No, he wasn't.
he was too appointed by the board.
No, he was not.
He was.
Did you bring your information on that and show us?
Yes, I did.
What meeting did we do that at, or was it
We
done at?
didn't do it, they did it.
You
Back
didn't
in-
do a thing, Brad. You had nothing to do with my
The
hiring.
minutes.
Right.
The minutes.
Bruce
said
did.
Someone asked.
Bruce did.
Someone asked how the building and the office manager were hired. The supervisor stated he put it on Facebook and he hired them from there. The board did not make a decision. I was here. We did not vote on it. I came into work one day and Dustin was here. I came into work one day and Mike was here. It was not a board
So-
decision.
Right.
Jared,
And
That's all I'm saying.
in this, it's in the back where they
It-
voted for me. It was a.
Mike, would you like?
it's not, if you can bring that paperwork, let's see it, but
Mike, would
you don't
like
have
to
it.
read,
yes.
Your,
Attorney, like-
Can I just,
Yeah.
off the handbook,
Oh, in my handbook, the one that I was given when I hired in, okay, on the very first page, and there was reasoning that this was done. On the very first page, at will employment. All non-elected employment is considered at will. As such, the township board reserves the right to terminate employees at will with or without cause at any time. The township board.
what,
This is what I was given
Mike.
when I hired.
Mike, what is the handbook edition? When was it revised?
I don't know when it was revised, but I'm
But it-
telling you, that's
it
the
should
one
say
I
on-
was given.
It should say on the backside of the.
Adopted, May of 2013.
Okay, that's
last
the old
revision
one.
date, and that's just.
But that's what I was given
It-
when I
it
was
doesn't
hired.
have-
This,
it doesn't
this
have a
new one
revision
did
date.
not
It
exist.
just says
Can I-
last revision date, but there's
Can I
no
just
date.
finish my thought, please?
So based off of this, I'm assuming, I wasn't here in 22, October 11th, 22. But based on the date, I'm assuming that that was the date that the amendments or the updates to the handbook was voted on by the board and amended on the board. This is what the board ruled to amend the conditions of any employment, which they said of at will. So the board delegated its authority to the supervisor to some degree under here. This was voted on by the board, right? And so the updated handbook needs to be considered as the updated will of the board at the time.
It is.
So to the extent that there was an action for at-will employment or termination at will, based upon the handbook that's here, absent any other revision that would change that provision since October of 22, I don't see that. And whether or not he received that initial handbook or not, it has been updated, right? And the updated version says, I'll read it again. As all non-elected employment is considered quote unquote at will, period. As such, the supervisor or the township board reserve the right to terminate employees at will, with or without cause at any time, with the exception of deputies. And so based off of this, I would.
And it doesn't say anything about hiring either.
So basically what you're saying, Steve, is the agreement that I was under when I was hired.
Was
This is
null
not,
and void.
this is not an agreement, this is an employee handbook that's updated from time to time. And an employee handbook updated from time to time, you're subject to the updates. And so as the office manager, you are also privy to the ability to receive this and to have one. It does not necessarily need to be handed to you every time there's an update, especially if you are part and parcel of the one who's
I
supposed to be.
disagree with that
considered.
reasoning there, but,
Well, it's right here. So
when they print something new, you should be given it. Every employee should. be.
Should.
It's-
You should.
it's
I
fact.
agree.
It's human resource.
And you know, it's nothing personal, Mike. I'm telling you, you think it is, but it's not. It's nothing personal
Well, you're
against
sitting
you.
there telling,
You
you know,
didn't-
that is, Brad, hold on one second. That is about as unprofessional as it gets.
How?
To term a 4-year employee with no reason.
I
The
have,
reason you gave me was this is the right to work state. That's
because
the
you wanna
reason
argue
you
about
gave.
each point. I got a dozen of them,
Well,
but,
let's
but the
hear-
bottom line is,
Well, we're
I got
arguing.
somebody to do your job for 1/4 the time and price, okay? I'm saving the community
Well, now
money.
we got age idea. Oh, yeah, I'm loving this.
Age, what does that have to do with it?
You don't know.
Well,
This
You're-
is,
It's
What are you talking about age?
not Board approval either, so.
There's
think
nothing to
that's
do with your
something
age.
Process for hiring.
Yes.
Yeah, I do interviews and I hire, you know, the employees that are not, that are hourly.
No,
Yes.
the hourly employees have to come,
we're in the
I need
handbook.
that
You should
copy.
have to come, it's the MCL, they have to come in front of the board and be
No, they,
interviewed in front of the board,
Yes, it
and the
is.
board needs to vote on
well,
it.
then show us the paperwork. Let's see it. If you got this information, then bring it. Don't just say it. You gotta prove it.
Well,
That's all we're asking for. Just prove
yeah.
it.
but-
Okay. Okay.
Stop, and I'll.
No, next month, bring the information. That's what you were supposed to do this month. That's what I thought we were doing. We were debating this termination. So
Was that real, what she said?
this is the township's ordinances and bylaws, okay? This is what you go by. This is what it says. All right,
So,
the handbook.
Can we
should
move
reflect
on?
The will
No.
of the board. To the extent that the handbook reflects the will of the board in any kind of.
that's right.
But I don't know.
These-
I
the
don't
old
know what.
Administration discussed it. They never had a problem when I fired Tracy. That was no issue.
Cause he was under contract.
Yeah,
No.
he was wrong, and he was under.
What do you mean he was wrong? I mean, when you first came here, just for an instance. You wanted me to fire Mike right away and you wanted me to fire Justin right away. You said that neither one of them are doing nothing. What are they doing here? They're just sitting there doing nothing. He's in the back. And I'm like, you don't even know these people yet. You gotta get to at least know them.
Hey, can I ask
You
one
were
question?
fucking me.
One question.
Cause I never
Why?
said that.
Why,
wait,
2 weeks
wait,
prior,
we're discussing.
2 weeks prior, it leaked out that Brad was getting rid
Yeah.
of Mike. Why did that leak out? Yes, it did.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
And
well,
why-
here's another thing on Facebook, you know, I want to thank that guy for, you know, complimenting me on my brand new truck, you know, I do appreciate that compliment, you know, it looks great for a 25-year-old truck, but it's brand new on Facebook, you know, that kind of stuff. And I gotta tell my wife, we went to Ireland, you know, remember that? Oh, we did go to Ireland. That's what was said on there too, but
I don't do Facebook.
so anyway.
Why,
So let's move on. What do you have to show us that is gonna prove your case, make your case? If not, we have to move on.
know why you fired him?
I don't
want
have to
reason.
tell
I
you
am
nothing.
sorry, but Yes, you do.
I'm not
Yeah.
discussing this in front of these people because it's gonna
We're
take
not.
hours.
No, it's.
We're
not.
already into this for an hour.
You
To
said
get through the rest of this-
insubordination. What was the insubordination?
Oh, God, I don't have to tell you nothing.
Yes.
Yes, you do. Wait a minute, wait a minute. There's 5 people on this board for a reason.
You're right.
If you make the sole decision and we get sued, it's gonna be solely
How's
on
he gonna
you.
sue? We have paperwork, we have documentation. I discussed it with the lawyer before the
On
termination.
the, on the hiring, go back to the hiring.
Why?
So it says here the handbook, going off the handbook. The township supervisor shall conduct interviews with each prospective employee. The township supervisor shall then submit recommendations to the township board for approval to hire.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's.
for the Board of Commissions, the Planning
No,
Commission and that.
It's just hiring and performance policies.
Hiring.
That's what I'm reading, that's what I showed Steve, so that's what I'm reading there. For hiring,
All right, so what about the firing?
the firing is, a lot of, the other
Based on the,
page.
based on the handbook, it
hiring-
appears as though you can do all the firing you want for at-will employees that are not elected officials or deputies. But when it comes to the hiring process, you conduct the interviews and then present it to the board and the board hires it.
We'll vote on it.
Or vote on it to hire them, if, you know, if they so choose. That's what I just read on the hand.
Okay, let's move on with this termination thing. Let's get this over with first. One thing at a time.
I thought you just said.
Yeah, it's a family.
Let's hire.
Well, I mean, the board can ask if you want questions, I don't.
I make a motion that we rehire Mike.
So I can fire him again? It's not gonna work like that. It's just not gonna work.
Yeah, it is. If this board determines the policy of the township. So I will second Kim's motion to reinstate Mike and to pay him his back pay
Back pay.
since he's been terminated.
Cause you have just good
We're
reason.
just throwing money away. We had somebody that volunteered and did the fire run for free.
And we can't have a volunteer.
We
Angie.
can't,
No,
I
we
already checked
can't.
with the insurance, they're bonded, they can't touch money, but they can volunteer their time, okay? But now you wanna give back pay, taxpayer money
Right?
to somebody for not working. Is that
Yes,
what you're saying?
Mhm, yeah.
absolutely.
Wow.
because-
I hope everybody who voted for Stan.
Because he was
knows
wrongfully terminated.
At will, he just said at will, he has that discretion, and now you're saying he doesn't have.
Wait a
that
minute, Angie,
discretion.
read back in the minutes when we did create that position.
We-
And you said you agreed that you didn't want the supervisor to have that sole power. So
Did you-
we
Do
voted
you
on it.
have minutes that said how Bruce hired them? He hired them off of a Facebook post. He did not bring them to the board because I'm telling you right now, Justin came in on a Monday before I had a school election. And I said, and Bruce said, this is Justin, he's gonna work in the building department, you need to train him. And I said, I have an election tomorrow, I don't have time to do that. So he came back the following week. That was the first I knew of Justin. I was here one day on a Monday, Mike walked in the door with Bruce and he said, he's the new office manager. He knows what to do, but you need to help him. That's how I found out about Mike. It never came to this board, and if you look back through the minutes, you would know that you were here too.
Yeah.
So don't say.
It's in there when
that
we created to hire an office manager by the township
Okay,
vote.
so he hired.
4 people voted yes for it.
They,
Angie
you know,
was-
but get the
That's not the
terminology
point.
right. You,
That's
4
not the
people
point.
voted that the supervisor has a right to hire the guy, the admin guy. That was the vote. That is on the minutes. Go back and look at it. It doesn't say you guys vote in that person. It does
Now-
not say that.
And now you're
I've looked at it.
now you're contradicting what Jared just said, because you're saying the board voted for the supervisor to hire somebody.
No, I didn't say
No, you
that.
just
You
didn't say
said that.
You said.
I said the board voted to hire Mike.
No, the
No.
board voted to hire somebody, an admin
Somebody
person.
to
Create a
off-
position.
Yeah, to create the position and hire
Well,
someone
then,
for that position.
Who is the admin position? Mike Spanish.
No, I think it would be vacant because of the termination under the handbook.
Right,
So it would be a vacant position right now.
Right
which
now
could
it
be
is
filled
No,
by-
I'm saying when he was hired.
Brad, can I ask your attorney one question? Very calm. Please check the Michigan State Constitution of the previous township supervisor. I'm the sitting county commissioner. And any financial matters, the board has to vote on that as a whole. Also an employee, whether it's Mike, Tim, Scott, Mary, whoever, has the right to a closed door meeting if they get terminated. You can say that will, you don't have to say a word, but you can also request a public meeting. Please check the Michigan State Constitution.
We are discussing.
And
our
if the-
board. Why is he?
And if the,
yeah.
handbook is in violation of the Constitution, if you're spending money, then your handbook is incorrect if you're giving the supervisor that right. Even if the board voted on it, Michigan State Constitution does not support that, you can have. Please check it.
Well, okay, thanks, Dave.
I don't know. Was it something like that?
So,
We have a motion out.
There is a motion on.
motion for what?
Motion to hire Mike.
More information. It's very simple.
That's
It's
right.
Way too much just right now. We need to have presented to us why he was let go.
Yes,
And then from there, so he doesn't have that, so either next meeting or whatever you present us, the reason why.
That was never on the last
I'm just
agenda
saying-
too. You were saying that it was, but it wasn't. What we
Okay,
put on the
but I'm saying
agenda,
We need that to move forward.
fine, I'll
And-
talk to you all in private. The
That's fine.
public
I'm just
doesn't
saying,
need
we
to
just-
know.
We just need that to move forward.
But I'm not
to make
gonna
our
sit here and
decisions.
argue one-on-one,
understand.
debate over each item, why
That's
I
fine.
terminated
not
him.
saying-
I'm
I
not
just-
doing
I
that.
need to know
I'll tell you.
why to make my decision if we're gonna vote to have him rehired or what we're doing. I need to
Okay.
know why he was let go.
Then I will tell you.
So what do we want to do? Do
So
we
we're gonna
wanna-
table it till next month, right?
no, you can't table it.
No.
You have to, there's a motion
there
on
is a
on the
motion.
table.
We
Well,
have
the
to
new
make-
motion to reinstate at this point.
Yeah, that's what they wanted.
So I
I
voted-
think it was modified
yeah.
for with back then.
I'm voting no.
Okay, Stan
He supported, right?
Yes,
supported it, yeah. You vote yes?
yes.
Chair is no. Kim?
Yes,
Angie?
No.
Brad, no. Motion it does not pass.
But we've done a motion. For next, we just make sure it's on the next meeting. I'll put a motion forward. It just could be on the agenda
For what?
to get the reasons why. He was let go to talk, to see if we need to move forward, I guess is what I'm saying. So I don't, we don't need a motion for that. We just need to get together and give the show, or however you wanna do it.
You wanna know? I'll
Why-
explain everything to
Then
you.
from that, we can go to the next meeting.
yeah, he was supposed to bring it this month though, that's what he said last month.
I'd like,
Well,
that
that's what we
information as well,
Yeah.
when you're
Yeah, we
getting
got-
chair.
So, all right, so we're on to the next one. We're on F. So we had a
You should make a.
treasure removal demand. And Steve is gonna tell us the legal, I guess,
Jumbo.
aspects of it.
So there was a demand that was placed before the board by Mr. Cowan for a removal of or for an action by the board to remove the treasurer. Without getting into the lengthy issues of it, really, the Constitution doesn't provide that a general law township can have the authority or the ability to remove. The Constitution reserves the right to remove officers to the legislature, so it delegates, just for the sake of a little bit of education here. Removal, impeachment have the same purposes, and under Michigan Constitution, Article 5, Section 10. Removal by the legislature is also available pursuant to Michigan Constitution, Article 7, Section 33. Those are the two portions of it. With respect to a general law township, first, the Michigan Constitution limits the power of removal to the governor, absent a law stating otherwise, to state officers or other political subdivisions. In this case, Michigan Constitution, Article 733 authorizes the legislature to provide for the removal of local elected officials. Any elected officer of a political subdivision may be removed from office, quote, in the manner and for the causes provided by law. Well, under this certain case, the procedure of removal for a general law township, and this is not a charter law, a charter township scenario, is that the governor shall remove a township officer chosen by electors for any township when the governor is satisfied from the evidence submitted that the officer has been guilty of official misconduct, willful and neglect of duty, extortion, habitual drunkenness, or has been convicted of being drunk, or when it appears by a certified copy of the judgment of a court of record of this state that the officer, after the officer's election or appointment, was convicted of a felony. So those are the only opportunities for which that can be done, and I there's more here, but I think for the sake of, unless you guys have more questions, to answer the question, can this be brought? Does this board have the authority to remove officers? The Constitution and the delegated authority to the legislature is very clear, no. And so I don't know if we need a resolution, if you want to deny it. I've spoken to Mr. Cowan about this. I've presented that fact to him already. The supporting documentation that he provided, in many respects, was for a charter township. The case law does not support this. In fact, the case law that I have here supports the opposite. This is a general law township. The Constitution, through the Constitution, it's a delegated authority issue, right? And it rolls downhill. And as a general law township, it is the most minuscule of authorities that this board has under the circumstances, and they do not have the authority to remove somebody.
So basically on the governor.
It's on the governor,
Yeah,
based on a petition.
And
All right.
On those
I
grounds.
think he understood that too, because I said that immediately when I read the paperwork that night.
Okay, so it's done. It's a dead horse. Let's move on.
I do want to make another motion though. I would like to make a motion that any removing of any employee needs to be brought in front of the board
For a board vote,
for a board vote.
I'll support that motion.
Just to clarify for the motion's sake, it would be to modify the handbook then?
Correct.
You have to change
Yes,
the handbook.
that's what needs to be
Yes.
done.
So write the motion down. What exactly is the motion
Say it again.
again?
The
To
motion
modify the
is-
handbook.
Okay, to modify the handbook to reflect any removal of any employee is to be a board vote.
Back to what it used to be. When I was hired under.
I second.
Who said
Or
that?
just- did you
Go ahead.
Oh, it's fine, if you got standard, not standard.
Fire and
Okay,
safety
so
vote.
you second,
Oh, standard, someone done it, yeah.
Yes.
then vote. Jared,
Yes.
Stan,
Yes,
Kim,
Yes,
Angie.
Undecided. I really feel like you're putting so many restrictions that if something happens and we don't have the ability to have one person to be able to say, hey, this needs to be done.
I know, they
And then
just
we gotta
wanna,
wait a whole month. What if something happens tomorrow?
well,
You
then
know,
you
don't-
can have.
they wanna hog tie the
But
system.
you're,
Oh,
no,
we're not
no,
talking
but you're saying,
about-
hold on,
To not give
You know what, I'm
complete
just
power of this
voting
board.
no, because the three of them voted yes, it's gonna.
You don't
pass.
have,
but-
I
well,
don't,
let's make sure they're clear with this, because we're adjusting the handbook. So the handbook could state something in there, if there is an emergency, and if you come in here and someone's drunk or whatever, this stuff. Then, yeah, you can let them go, you don't have to wait a month to let that person go.
Yeah,
Something has to
that's
be,
the law though.
Couldn't
something
it,
could be written like that.
couldn't it be something written that it has to be any interim hire has to be ratified by the board at the next board meeting? Right, so if it's an emergency, you need to get somebody hired in here on an emergency basis, and the board meeting's in 2 weeks, it's okay, well, they can remain an employee contingent on approval from the board at that next meeting.
So you could have hiring and removal the same way.
Well, I think, I'm sorry, is the motion for
There
hiring?
might-
Well,
The
this is
motion is for
Fire.
fire,
For firing.
Firing.
Fire,
Fire.
letting someone
for
go.
removal.
Right. So
So you could review the situation, but if the situation was drastic, something needs to be written up that, yeah. it's- you-
Well, I
Fire
mean,
right
right
down
now, I
the
mean, the board does have the ability, after a firing, to rehire that person. Right, so it kind of already is in there in the handbook. To be honest, like, with the way it is right now, if the supervisor was to terminate somebody, okay. The board at the next meeting could rehire that person.
But what they're trying to, I think what they're trying to do is, before that person gets let go, the board reviews it,
Discusses it,
and it's a board decision, instead of
Correct.
just having the supervisor have that authority.
correct.
But I do understand also that there could be a situation like Angie saying that you may have to fire someone that day, and there isn't a meeting.
Could that person be put on administrative leave until an emergency meeting is
Until the
called?
meeting or
Right.
the month,
Yeah, that
yeah,
would be
something
a
has to be written, yeah.
Administratively without pay.
Something, yeah, but.
Well, you'd have to sit down and write something
Yeah,
about
we
that
have to,
extent,
I mean, yeah,
before
it
you,
has to be written, but something has to be changed.
you just can't,
So do we wanna perhaps work on some language over?
yeah,
Yeah.
put that down, work on the language on the book.
Still, we can change the language later on at a different meeting.
No,
but it
let's-
needs to go
let's
in
get it right
on
the
record
first time.
today.
Get it right the first
Needs to
time,
go on the record today.
that we will,
We've already voted.
well, we'll
it's
change
already
the
passed.
language.
It already passed.
It passed.
So
The votes weren't
You
complete
can
for
you can
one.
vote to rescind it if this motion is,
Well, it has to be rescinded by me, and
or you can vote to
I'm not gonna
overrule it.
rescind it.
So what are you gonna stick with what you're
I
voting
would
on?
guess that needs, but I'd like, could I put a motion that before this is adopted, that it has to be,
So you wanna change the motion?
well, I wanna add something to that, I mean, if we're not gonna, I add something to her motion.
If we
Okay,
vote
then
on this
redo the
motion,
motion.
then
That's
we're gonna
bad.
have
We
to
already voted on
another
it.
motion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, so I'd like to put a motion,
It already
Doesn't matter if they pass things or not.
I want to add a motion that puts that we have to add it in case of emergency, that, or
I would
how.
highly suggest that we work on the language to avoid any potential legal liability. I don't see there's that much, in my opinion, waiting a month to do so, to make sure we're not exposed to any legal liability is probably the most prudent thing to do.
It is.
Okay.
Well,
I'll
I
go with that.
feel like right now is the most, we can always change the language. But we already had a motion, it was seconded, it was voted on, and it was passed.
And
If we
Jared
need
wasn't-
to
And Jared,
Update
Jared's
and.
He's changing the motion, he
That's
doesn't like
what I'm
the.
saying.
The motion that been made passed.
Exactly, and if we need to change it at the next meeting, that is fine, we
Right.
can make a change, but right now. Going forward from today, getting rid of anybody here is a board vote, and that's it.
So you can, or you can make a motion right now and change that right now,
We'll just leave it as.
if you
it
wanna
is.
change your mind.
Leave it as it is, and then the next meeting, what the vote is, what we have to,
so we're going to make this,
So that's a revision of the handbook.
okay,
Yes.
modify the handbook to state any removal of an employee be by board, for the vote. Wording, can I put in there that the,
No,
language, no, I gotta make another
No.
motion. I'll make a motion that, we clarify the wording of that and approve it at the next meeting,
Yeah. Yeah,
okay?
I second that,
Okay,
all right, then let's vote on it. Jared,
yes.
Stan,
No,
Kim,
No,
Angie,
yes.
Brad, yes. Motion will pass on that. Okay, so can we move on? Oh, that's well, we went backwards, okay, so we did E, do F, now we're doing G, we're done with F. Treasurer and trustee report on what was learned at the MTA. Jared gave us some kind of rundown. Stan, you were supposed to bring something, and Kim, you were supposed to bring something.
yeah, I
to
don't
tell
wanna
the
take a lot of
people.
time. I'll run through mine right now. First off, one of the things I learned, if you record a township meeting, the video and the audio has to remain unedited or civil rights are violated. And we've had meetings that have had voids in that, and they've been altered, which is a no-no. The second thing I learned, that there are 1,240 townships in the state of Michigan, and there's only 11 in the UP that are not MTA members due to low budget. So they are not a money laundering organization like Brad stated in his letter to the residents. The third thing I learned, the township websites are government-owned and need social media training before the person can issue and needs to be bonded. They cannot put opinionated material on that website. It can be information only. So when you put your letter on there to the residents, Brad, you cannot call out individual board members like me, or I have the option to sue you for that.
But there, there was no letter on the website.
Yes, there was.
On the website, there is? I don't
Yeah,
know.
and every word of it's the truth. You demanded that we do this, redo the agenda in your format and et cetera, et cetera. There's no lies on there.
It's on the
And
Facebook
this
page,
is,
too. It's
isn't
not
what
on
you
the
learned at
website.
the MTA. This is something you came up from the last month's
No,
meeting.
this is stuff, when I went through my MTA things. How can you say that? How do you know when I wrote this?
Well, you were supposed to bring that to the last meeting, but I don't want to get into it. Just continue on with what you
Okay.
got.
And when is your report to us?
Yeah, and here's it, let me finish, Kim. And number 4, we need a investment policy. It's MCL 129.91.
We have one.
We do,
It's in our resolution book. You can look at it. I'll show it to you.
just so we cover our
Yeah,
CDs.
we did it a long time.
Okay, because I thought maybe we didn't, that's why I wrote that down. Township millages are going to change due to law changes very soon. So there's gonna be changes coming to assessing, we were told that at that conference. FOIA fees must be reasonable in cost, or there are consequences. General law townships decide most issues by policy and by board vote. And then the last thing is criminal statutes for security cameras. MCL 750.539A through 750.5391. We need to review that because I don't think we have signs posted anywhere that there are security cameras.
MCL what?
MCL 750.539A to 750.5391.
We do have stickers out there.
Yeah, but in here, there's nothing.
And I do know that Bruce had asked when we got put in about having voice recording, and they said that.
She harped on that up
Yeah.
at the conference.
Yeah, they told us.
Well, them are the things that I thought, now Kim,
Stan, can I piggyback on what you said about the website and even the Facebook? If have been changes to the law, but they've been a lot more stringent where if a public official is putting themselves out there or using it as a public, basically, even if it's a private Facebook group, for instance, for public use, in the sense of like furthering on their public mission, that can be subject to, in most cases, what's required, just certain disclosures and things. And so I'm sure the MTA probably has some kind of course on that. I would encourage everybody to do that, because it can also be on your own somewhat private Facebook. And if you're commenting or putting things out, and it's kind of a fine line between that public and private
correct.
use.
Well, I learned that no one board member has more or less authority than another at the head table. Meaning all 5 of us are the exact same and nobody's more than the other. I also learned you can't use the township logo, email, or anything else, the address saying that you are the township and put your own personal stuff on it. You're not allowed to do that at all. And then the last thing I learned was, as a member of the township board, everybody has the same duty to vote and should vote on all issues for which a vote is required unless there's a conflict of interest or other legal reason for abstaining. And that's all I'm going to say today.
I think you
I
talked
did
about it
last
last time,
time.
yeah. Okay, so,
All right,
all right.
ARPA report.
Well, here's I wanted this brought up because we used to have our old auditor do the ARPA report, and that's a requirement to keep the ARPA money available to us. So we still have almost $67,000, so we had to do an ARPA report. I have never done that, and I called, and we kept getting emails saying we had to have it done. I gave it to Kim. And then I called our old auditor and they couldn't do it because we're no longer using them. But they did try to help me. I have to be honest, Jimmy, the one guy called me back and he tried to get in, but it was still in Bruce's email and he had no password, so he couldn't do it. But he was going to try and help me. I called Casco. She said if I could figure out how to get into it, she would walk me through it. I couldn't do it. So then I called the new auditor that we hired and he sent an email saying that whoever was the financial, I think it was the financial.
Yeah,
I forget the word, I say it every
Right.
time. And that's
something
Kim.
different.
Yeah, it's Kim. And so I gave her that email and said, you have to get in there, and they sent a thing on April 1st from the Treasury Department, they told Kim. And
Mhm.
she had to get it so they could get into it. Well, I called the day before it was due, and they said they never got anything, the auditor. So then I talked to Kim about it, she talked to somebody, and they said we didn't have
I
to file.
talked to a treasurer from another township. And she said because we didn't have money left to spend, that everything was already spent.
Allocated, it was allocated.
Allocated, yes, that we weren't required to do it. The other thing
Who
with,
was the person though? I wanna write that so it's actually in the minutes who told you that.
I don't know that I wanna give her name out. to be
Well,
honest.
if it comes back.
I'll tell it to you
But
after.
it needs to be in the legal minutes, because if something comes back to haunt us, like Brad got that email today saying, second notice, you forgot to do your ARPA report. I want it in our minutes that this is why we didn't do it, because you were told by this person. Because we may lose $67,000 if we don't do what we're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another issue with that ARPA report, is it's still in Phoebe's name, you can't get into it,
Well,
into that thing,
if
so.
you went into that April 1st email that the Treasury Department sent you. it
I
was-
did, and you had to have her number. But I don't have her
But you
number.
did have, there was a folder, you.
Yeah,
showed
it just doesn't have a number in it.
Well, I just know this,
Have we asked Phoebe for the number?
I'm gonna talk to them.
'Cause-
Phoebe,
If not, I can send her a letter asking for that number.
I can
mean,
try
we
and
need to get that.
contact her if she has it, but she took nothing with her. She wrote everything out. She changed passwords so that her passwords weren't the same as Kim's. I know that on the last day that he had to settle with the county, the 31st of March, she was texting me all day. You make sure to remind Kim that this is the day she has to do that, because she was concerned that everything got done the correct way. I can text her and ask her if she knows how to get into that.
Is this a state or a federal requirement?
This is a federal.
I'm not sure. which
thing.
one.
It's the
If
federal,
state
it's
or
the American
federal.
Rescue Plan.
What number is the password? What number?
It asks
I
for
have-
like an ID number,
Yeah, I have no idea because I didn't
Uh,
to do it.
a unique ID
But
number.
nobody asked her, it seems. I mean, I don't think would be held hostage if we asked them. I'm
Right.
assuming, I don't know.
It seems that.
Our old
She would
auditor,
tell you.
we worked with the old auditor before, he always helped her with it.
Okay.
But like I said, we don't have them anymore, so I called Wes.
And we don't really have
talked
an
to him.
auditor right now.
The auditor right now.
Well, if you reach out, Phoebe, and see what happens, if not, give me your number and I'll see if we get this number.
Yeah,
We can't lose that money.
Phoebe and I can talk to her and see if she knows what it, she would never withhold it.
Right,
I'm just saying she may not know it because she walked away.
and then.
And-
well,
Yeah, I'm
she's
not
out
saying
of
that she's withholding it, I'm
Administration.
saying that.
And
it's
this,
not.
new auditor,
How involved of a report is it?
I
Something?
don't know, I've never
I just-
done
I
it.
don't have any clue.
And then we asked Phoebe, how did she get assigned that number?
Yeah,
and
I'll
then
talk to her and see if
Kim
I
goes
can
the
find
same way
something
to get
else.
assigned a number.
What about our old auditor? They.
Well, I did call and talk to Wes, who was our auditor, and he said he couldn't do it. But then Jimmy, one of the associates, called me and said, I tried to do it. It was under Bruce's name and it had a password, but they didn't have that password, it had expired. So there was no way to get into it unless the treasurer did something, and she doesn't know how to do it either, so we're kind of in a bind.
And when is like the deadline to
April
resolve?
30th,
Yeah, it's already passed.
yeah.
Okay.
Or anything else on that ARPA?
I'm just gonna put in here that we're gonna try to resolve it.
Yeah, contact.
Okay, so we're done.
Mhm.
Dyke live view cameras only.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I think there was a request to put the contact person's name in the minutes. Did you say
Yeah.
that? Do we have?
Oh, yeah, the person that told her.
And I don't wanna say it, cause I don't wanna get anybody in trouble. If she's wrong, I don't
So,
wanna get her in
so
trouble.
just know this, if she's wrong and we get in trouble, it's on you,
Okay,
because you were the one that she told it. So
That's
by you
fine.
withholding that, and guess I have to put that in the minutes. Do you
said
really
she
want that? Do you really wanna take that?
and I said I would give you the name and
I know,
contact.
but I can't put it in the minutes if you give it to me in confidence. That's what I'm
Well-
saying, you can tell me anything in confidence isn't gonna help us,
Yeah, but putting it in the minutes isn't gonna change anything either.
it would take it off of your shoulder.
Not really.
Well, then I'm just gonna say, the person that told you, you didn't wanna reveal the person that told you that.
Okay.
Move on. Okay, live view cameras only on the phones. I have contacted them. They told me they cannot split the services up. And they are checking into something else to see if they can possibly do it a different way. So that's the information I got from Kathy. She was pretty upset when I called her. Apparently you had called her for a week straight, an hour on the phone, yelling, screaming,
Was not-
cussing, and threatening her. That
I
is
was
what she
not.
told me, and I'll put her name on the record, Kathy
And you can,
said that.
and I was
So-
not.
A week straight.
I
A
did call
week
her for a
straight.
week straight, yeah.
Now, my thing is
did.
with the cameras, how is that gonna benefit you on your job? How is that gonna help you with your job?
It doesn't have to help me with my job. It has
It's
nothing
just
to
something
do.
you want,
It's exactly, I should
Okay.
be able to.
as long as
when
that's
I'm
clear.
late- When I'm here late and I'm getting ready to leave and it's dark out and I can't see out there, yeah, you're darn straight. I wanna be able to look at that camera, check around my car, check outside before I walk out the door. And
We-
there's nothing wrong with
We
that.
do have windows all the way around the building.
Yeah, we have, windows, but you can't see everything.
Oh, my lord, well.
And why is it such a big deal to you that we have it?
Well, it's a distraction for you. That's my point. It's a distraction because if you only got live view camera and you're not doing your job over there in the office and you're fiddling with the phone to see what we're doing,
Right. That's what I'm gonna be doing,
well,
right?
I don't think that's, I think it's a
Yeah.
waste of time.
That-
Anyway, I did,
So, You do,
I did call him and talk to him and I'm still waiting for some results with that, but also the BS&A, well, that's down here. I got something for them too, but
What
Um,
were the board resolutions with the whole?
a
We
motion
voted on
passed
view
March
only.
11th.
a live view only if it was possible. If
No,
they
it
could-
didn't say
it-
possible.
I know, but if they can't give you the service, then you can't get it.
I thought, the board had voted that the only contact person for them was Brad.
They
It
did.
is
Contact,
a
but we
text
voted that
He is the one.
you can have live view only.
Got it, okay.
Can't edit it, can't do anything, you just watch on it. And what Brad is
Right.
stating is they don't
Why
supply.
don't we
that.
just have a
Well-
monitor out in the office?
I don't know what.
They do have, it's just an app, you guys, on the phone. Kathy Erd gave me the app. And you just load it and she's waiting on Brad's permission because Brad said, don't give it to us until after this meeting.
Until after
Because-
I get the facts from her, and I haven't got them yet.
She said you were withholding it and told her not to give it to us until after the next meeting, because there was gonna be a cost involved.
And
I
there
said,
was.
What would there be the cost? Kathy, it's just a app. And she said, I don't know. Here's the app. Gave me the app. I downloaded it, no cost. All we need is you to invite us to go on the app. So actually, they don't even have to do it. It's on you to invite us.
And if I can't invite you for live view only, then I can't invite you.
Well-
So that's where it goes back to what I'm trying to tell you, explain to you. They don't have the separate services like that. I'm trying to work with them right now to see if they can do something different. I don't know. This is all in the works, just like with the BSNA thing. The different quotes for that. That's coming up here shortly, but we got some numbers for you for that. They couldn't give me all the information I needed either. Can we move on with that? Table until next month until I can see what they're gonna offer. You know, it
Yeah,
might
that's
cost more money per month. This is what they told me originally, but I don't know now. I don't know. I mean, it's up in the air. So what do you wanna do? Table till next month. That's all I can tell you. I mean, all right. Stan to bring the tablet back. Did you bring the tablet back?
No, I don't have it with me tonight, but I wanna do, when I bring it in, can you issue me a
Oh,
tablet with trustee one on it? Cause I don't know how to do that.
Well, you'll have to get hold of, high tech, cause they're the ones that had to do it.
Well, if that's the case, I need to go right to them, and I'll tell you why. I've been doing a lot of doctoring. I had a couple doctor appointments where I thought I was gonna get out in time to go right to high tech to get that tablet taken care of. And that guy was only there till 4:30.
Well, you should try calling, because
Well-
they can do a lot of stuff over the phone.
Stan, if you give, I will call tomorrow or whatever and try and get it done for
Well, he
you.
doesn't
If
have it
not,
with him.
right, but if you
Stan?
get it to me, I'll call, try and get it taken care of for you. If not, I can run up there one day for you.
All right, Stan, I'll tell you what I told you a couple months ago. I had the tablet cleaned and erased and ready for you. I texted you, I have your passcodes and everything for you to set it up, but you never got back with me. So I have all the information. If you want it, come and see me. You have the text, it's on the phone. I did text you about it.
Okay.
In a
I'll
group
have to look
text,
back when I
so-
remember.
Two, needs a
If you,
code to
if,
the
if,
alarm.
if you don't wanna use it, then
No, I'm gonna use it.
you know, I wanna give it to somebody else.
Alarm code, and he needs a, one of these things to get in the office. Cause he don't have one.
Yeah, I have the key, but the codes have been changed so many times. I don't wanna punch the wrong
Well, the
code.
problem was that all the codes had nobody's name attached to it, so anybody coming and going, you never who they were, because everybody had the same codes. Pat used to give everybody her code, so everybody could walk in on it. And you
Yeah.
never knew, because by giving you a personalized password or code, we know you walked in.
Right. That's what I don't wanna do.
Yeah,
So we need
Yeah,
to
so
figure
he
that
needs
out,
that.
and then the pass to get in the door, I think Jared, you
It's
got
one of
one,
those-
right?
I have a pay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of these
Okay.
things.
just so you know, I did apply for the security grant to get the money back for putting that key code. The state sent me an email saying they got the paperwork that I sent them, so it's just a matter of.
Cool.
Kim will get, the money deposited into the bank account. And Kim, I'll tell you the dollar amount it's gonna be to kind of watch.
Why
for
is it gonna go auto?
Yeah, it'll automatically deposit. Remember when you showed me that once before and it was for the early voting, I got paid back for the
Mhm.
workers? It's gonna be similar to that. But I'll give you the dollar amount so you can watch for it and let me know. Cause I like to attach a copy of that to my application, so I
Okay,
know I
so
got it.
my thing for you, make an appointment with me. Come in during the office hours when I'm here.
That's the problem. I work 60 hours a week right now. And then the doctoring, the back June 4th, I'm having surgery to have my thyroid taken out. So, but I do want to get this resolved beforehand. But if you come in on a Wednesday night, you know, when I get out of work at 6 o'clock, I could come up here and meet you.
How about you drop it off? I'll get it set up for you. I'll get your card set up for you, pass it in the door, and then I'll leave it here. You can come and get it when you want.
Yeah, I can do that.
Wednesday's not my scheduled work day. My scheduled work day is Monday, Tuesday from 9 to 2, Thursday 9 to 2. Those are my hours out there that office
Okay.
is open, 9 to 2. I'm not working the late hours, and that was another thing Mike Spanik didn't want to work the late Wednesdays also. He doesn't want to come in. I don't want to come in either.
That's not true. He's got a thing on his.
All right,
phone.
So anyway,
We approved this time card where we worked on Wednesday.
keep on track.
Okay.
keep
Yeah.
on.
Getting off track.
All right, so just bring it in.
Okay,
All
new
right,
business.
I'll get it straightened out for you. All right, let's go back to new business then. Move on to new business. Approval of the SEC site plan.
So, Stan,
Yeah, the planning commission approved. What the county's gonna build what do they call that, a maintenance or control center
An office.
off of Bauman Road here back in. I'm trying to picture where it's going, but someplace between the lodge and
I think
Bauman
when you
Road.
pull in the driveway, it's gonna be.
I thought they were going far enough back.
No, Brad's
It's
right-
back,
Brad's
it's
right here
back
in his house.
behind the white barn along the, gravel drive next to the trees. So it's gonna be about 500 feet behind the white barn and so. And,
You mean, oh, the white barn?
yeah, back behind the white barn here, it'd be along the tree path.
Oh,
path
okay.
road.
I thought it was going off the main driveway.
No, it's not off the main drive. We'll have a gravel path come off that, pull out up to it. And there was the plan was submitted, it's, in the packet where it's located. And I have a copy here. If you
Everybody,
don't-
I gave
got it.
everybody a copy.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the plan commission approved it as they presented it and the planner, all the revisions.
Right.
We just as a formality have to approve it.
And
so
the
that-
plan is,
Yeah.
when this gets built within a year or two, hopefully they want to tear down the house that they use now and turn it into a parking lot.
On Corona Road,
Yeah,
yeah,
the trailhead.
because we'll keep the sewer and water there, so we can have that as a four-season restroom there.
So I make a motion that we concur with the
Approve.
planning commission's approval.
I'll second that.
Okay. Vote, Stan,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Kim, Angie,
Yes.
Brad, yes, motion passes. The Richmond summer tax is next.
Richmond Schools contacted me and wants us to collect their summer taxes. And I don't know, if we have to make a motion
We
for
have, I
that.
make a motion to approve collecting Richmond school tax in the summer of 25.
Okay, I make a motion,
I made the motion.
Oh, okay. I second it.
Okay, so vote Stan,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Angie,
Yes.
Brad, yes, motion passes for the summer taxes. All right, so estimates for the boardroom equipment.
So you said a couple meetings ago that, to bring together some quotes, so we're not leasing all this equipment all the time, why don't we buy it? So that's exactly what I did.
So what
And-
equipment are you talking about first? Just the computer or screen in here, just this room?
No, so the packet that I just gave you was the finished one, and that has everything in it.
Okay, so explain it to us because none of us had time to look at it. So
Yeah,
you
I
got
just got it.
surveillance, networking, door access and phones.
They will take over everything we currently pay a different company to do. They will do everything. Our security cameras, our everything in here.
Okay,
all
so
the door locks, all the,
let's go over the cost here. So for the networking, this is networking just for computers, correct?
yes, that
They
is
want
for-
76,56,55 is what they want for that.
It's
All
for,
right, so what is that per year or
it's a one-time payment.
And what exactly is this for? Say it again, Kim. This is
So
to-
the networking, I'm assuming, now I'm not super good about this, but this would be a new the server, everything that has to do with all of our computers.
all right, so that's
the-
And
70,
we
almost
would-
7,700 there. Okay, so let's move on down to surveillance.
Yep,
That is gonna be for what? All the outside cameras?
all the outside, all the inside, and
All right, so that's another
setting up.
$5,300.
Yep,
Okay, it's a door access.
yep.
That's just in and out the door. And their
That's our
management,
security doors. That is also doing something with the big window.
and they want 3166.72. And the phones, oh yeah,
Yep.
stuff.
And then the phones.
And that's 5,700, so you got a total of almost $27,000 you're looking to have the township spend on new stuff,
Yeah, pretty much.
27, okay,
Okay,
so I'm
Take
still,
all of our stuff that we currently lease and add it all up together monthly.
yeah, that's
We
how
would
much.
own everything and we would have it all for paid off in 1 year, less than 1 year,
It's, what is it, $1,500 a month or something?
more than 1,500.
But here's my problem, because this is, number one, it says pricing in this is subject to the change based on tariffs, so it could go up. And then it says installation of new core networking equipment with Wi-Fi. So we have our Wi-Fi through Comcast, so now
Right.
it's gonna
So-
change our Wi-Fi.
Yes,
Video survey, but then that concerns me too, because how are we getting Wi-Fi from another place when the only way we can get Wi-Fi in this building is through Comcast?
I mean, we can have them come in and explain it all to us. I was just putting
I
this
feel like
out.
that is, because then this,
This
I don't
wasn't to
even
call
know
a
what
vote on it today.
Ubiquity Products is. And then it says there's no charge for cloud access, but it says an optional service contract will be proposed under a separate cover, which means
Right.
this is to buy the stuff, but then we're gonna have to still pay a monthly fee.
Yes.
No, we will not.
It
Have to
says
pay
right there.
on, yes, on a couple of the things, we will have to pay a monthly fee.
How much is
But
it?
the monthly fee is not that much money. I
Well,
don't know exactly, I can't give you, I said, give me the quote for the equipment, so I could see if it was even something worth looking into. This
Okay,
is
well,
what it
that,
costs for the
well,
equipment.
that's the start, but let's get let's get some numbers for a monthly bill after this is paid. I got the Watech people, like I said, the guy was in an accident and he was in the hospital for a while and stuff like that, so I'm waiting for him to come back and give us a quote for the same stuff is what you quoting
And this
here.
here says, 8 surveillance cameras. I feel like we have more.
We have 13.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
but
well,
I would be
they're
interested,
$151 each, so.
I would be interested to have the person come so we could ask him the questions that you don't have
Absolutely.
answers for, because it's
Absolutely.
not.
I mean,
If you got Waytech, is there gonna be any others?
Well, we had that one guy a couple months ago that was $1,000 just to do the freaking website.
Yeah.
Well, that was.
That ain't him.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, this would take care of.
Could you
No, but let's
get a hold of that guy from Waytech and see if he can make it next month?
I'm gonna
Are
try.
you gonna be here at the next meeting if you have your surgery? on the
I
fourth?
should be.
Okay, you know, it's an early meeting now, right?
What's that?
It
No,
was
that's
changed.
July.
No, that's
Oh.
July.
That's
Oh, the
July.
July, okay, sorry.
I'm just saying, if he gets it on the 4th,
Yeah,
I think it's the 10th.
yeah, okay.
I think I just looked, I think.
Yeah, a
So-
couple days, I should be okay.
I will talk to him tomorrow or Thursday and tell him we need to get something or he's just gonna lose the business or possible business.
Yeah,
or
it's,
whatever.
it's,
But I'll call somebody else then,
it's the 10th.
you know, we gotta get a couple quotes. We can't just get one and then take it
Right.
as
And I-
face
and- and
value,
I feel like
and we
it
need a
would
little more information on this.
be
So,
better to ask him these
there's gonna be a
questions
monthly
if he
payment,
doesn't
I
know.
guarantee you that.
Yeah, they all have something.
Yes,
And they
so
all-
let's see what it is
Yeah.
and work off of that,
Yeah,
that's all.
and they all tell you all this is great, but unless we can ask
Yeah.
them, and she's not gonna
Yeah,
have answers
right.
for that.
All right, so we'll table that, get some more information, and we'll move on to the next BSNA upgrade and training quotes. Okay. So what
And
did you get for
$200.
training quotes for BSNA, Kim? You had something,
Well.
$2,200 or something?
Two things. Kim and I had this one's Kim's, let her talk about her.
This is the training you guys told me to talk to BSNA about. And each day, it's $1,100 a day. And
That's,
they're saying that we would need 2 days of it, and it would be $2,200.
so when you have this training, with you, your deputy, me, my deputy, Brad, we can all sit in on it?
I'm not sure.
Cause it
to be
says, it
honest.
says up here, Kim, it says if used for multiple entities or more than 15 attendees, please contact them.
So maybe,
So-
Yes.
I didn't ask
Well,
that, so I don't know.
I do have some information on that, and they did say that, yes, you could have multiple people in that room to do that. Now, they also told me that some of those modules that you wanted to get for the extra $1,900 on the BSNA website, all those modules, the training modules. You did that when we first got into this
No,
office.
that was them.
No, that was on TA, that wasn't this. It wasn't
Oh.
BSNA.
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
What was that? Did you get something from BSNA in the UPS yesterday?
Uh-uh.
all right, well, I got something from them to have a one-on-one training. They had a guy come out. And it was the 2,200 plus another roughly $2,600 for travel, hotels and all this other stuff like that. So I don't really like that idea, but I wanted to get some options
If we could
and that
do
was one of
remote,
them.
because the way, when they trained Phoebe and me, we did it remotely, and we had a tablet, because it's got a camera. We put the tablet here, so he could see our screen, and then we worked off of her screen, because, you know, we're using the same thing, and then.
Is there any way you could put it on here so you could all sit?
We
in here?
probably could.
Yeah, I'm
then
sure
we
you
have to
can.
do all our computers.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She's right. We couldn't, because we have to have our software program on our.
Oh.
computer.
Okay, so
So that might be something, but while we're talking about BSNA, we had, Kim and I did a group, like with somebody from BSNA.
Like a Zoom meeting.
Like, yeah, and they don't sell .NET to BSNA at all anymore. Everything's going to the cloud. And at some point, they're going to force everybody to switch over to
They
the
said
cloud.
the beginning of 26.
Probably. He said it won't be this year, but it'll probably be in 26. Kim and I kind of think, if we know we're gonna have to do this, we feel like we want to jump to the head of the line, because then we could get training instead of having every county in the whole, because I talked to Sess, because Kim thought maybe the county was gonna switch from BSNA, but he said impossible. He said about 98% of the state uses BSNA for assessing and tax. So if every county in the state has to, or every township, every city has to go to the cloud, can you imagine the learning that's gonna have to be done, the classes, the questions? If we do it sooner rather than later, we might have it all under control before they force us to switch. But to switch everything to the cloud is $22,480, because,
Angie,
that-
where'd
20,000?
you get that? Cause I don't, oh,
Last
well,
page.
all right, yeah, sorry.
last page, annual fee. Cause we're gonna have to do that. We pay an annual fee now. It's gonna be more, which I don't really understand why, because if you're in the cloud, it should be. I feel.
But that would get rid of the $2,200 in the training.
Well,
'cause
that's what
this
I,
would be
see,
training.
that's what I thought.
It will, cause this price includes training.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought. Before we talked about that training, we might think about that.
Okay, but when you do that training, are they? My understanding is they're just gonna show you how the system works. They're not gonna actually go through that computer, go through the books and go through the procedures with you. That's the way I'm understanding it. So by the time you're done with that training, still nothing will be accomplished on the computer,
No, cause
No.
they do the training on the computer.
the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be training to learn how to use it for building. When she gets, here's the part of our problem too. When Justin gets a building permit, and if he takes a payment online, doesn't always
It doesn't, I just
jump over
found
to
out.
her, because our accounting is on the cloud, building
She's
is
on
on the
net.
net. So
Yeah.
sometimes
Oh.
they get lost in the shuffle. And I think that would eliminate it, and he also told us if we did it now, that whole card swiping system is included. And when they eventually go to everybody getting it, they're gonna charge for that also. But,
Well, that's,
I don't know that so much of the things Kim needs to learn is almost. It's so
It's all on
specialized to
cloud.
her.
It's all on
Yeah,
cloud.
but everything you need to learn, like doing the
Yeah.
deposits and that.
It's all on
that's-
cloud.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
but you
saying.
could do a Zoom, if we do a Zoom and you ask that question, how do I do this or this, they're gonna answer that. And we can.
Yeah, maybe have a list of questions
Well,
beforehand.
Phoebe and I had a whole list, and what they did when we went to the .NET for building, they came and they had me email every building permit, every document they used, and I scanned it all in, sent it to them, and they actually loaded it onto the program for us, so we didn't have to do that. You know, they created all those documents for us, so. I mean, we don't have to decide right
Well,
now.
do you know what yeah, you don't know the requirements with the auditor too, right?
Well, we don't
We-
know because, we're not having much luck with our auditor right now.
we got a list of stuff they need and they don't have it.
But then they have a portal. Upload your information to this portal. Well, I've been trying for a week. I can't.
Right, I can't get it uploaded either.
So they should be contacted, so we get together with
I
them.
call them all the time, yeah.
I call them too.
So as far as the BSNA
I think we should
upgrade and
think about
train,
it. I mean, we can get a little bit more info,
Yeah.
like, I mean.
And if we could really can we make payments over a couple years on that, or?
I
well,
doubt it.
let's talk to them and see.
Yeah, we can ask.
Get more information,
Yeah.
we'll set it up for next month, and if it's good, get it.
See, and then, yeah, it says we go live 2 weeks from when they upgrade us. And I know, like, when, the remote go live assistant, remote office hours, they help. You know, and they don't have to come out here, they do it all, like I said, with the tablet, with the Zoom. But I can find out a little bit more, we can talk about it and
All right,
decide next one,
yeah, that's what I say.
okay. I just think it's not a bad idea, I know it's expensive.
Well, all of it's gonna be expensive, I got some more quotes
At
coming
some
up,
point, yeah, at some point we're going to have to.
I know. Like I said, I got some more quotes coming up here too, but, all right, so we'll do treasurer's requests next, that's E.
It's my purchase request, so you guys have it. I want the 5 Pendex binder cases that I asked for back in February. And the 2 prong fasteners that I asked for. A cast box with the combo lock. Another printing calculator. A laptop. And,
What do you need a laptop for?
well, for one, I only have 1 computer in my office, and it's hard to work 2 people with 1 computer. That's the most important reason. So it could be a desktop if you want it to be, but a laptop's cheaper. My current computer is only it has Windows 11 on it. It's supposed to have minimum of 16 gigs of, memory, and it only has 8. So that's part of the reason why it's so slow moving
So-
forward.
Well,
And
high-tech,
can it be upgraded?
well, high-tech
No.
just came out and upgraded all of them to Windows 11. That's why when in the fall, we had to get 2 new computers. Because there were 2 that couldn't be upgraded. Everything else could be upgraded.
Yeah, it got
Well-
upgraded, but what happened is it's still it doesn't have enough gigs to run the upgraded software, because it's 8 years old. So,
Well, I think that's something we need to talk to high-tech about. is
Yeah.
what did we pay to upgrade it?
Right,
but anyway, so I was bringing this to the board vote to, get these taken care of. The cash box is obviously for Mike. And, to have a locking cash box up there, with our petty cash in it. The printing calculator, cause I need 2 in my office for 2 people. And then actually this Casio desktop printing calculator, I put it on there twice and I didn't mean to, so.
so the binders and that, what you wanted, that is for what? Because the
That is-
old records you've got, you're leaving them in the binders and putting them in boxes in the basement?
No,
Is that what I was hearing anyway?
no, the ones in the basement they will get stored in the basement eventually,
In the binders or not in the binders?
not in the binders. So what we do is, like, there is tax papers down there from 2014. We only have to keep 7 years. So the best way to do it right now is Jessica showed me that she uses these binders. You put all your tax stuff in there, so all our winter taxes will go in there. You write on it what the date you can to throw it away, and then when you get to that, you pitch it.
So you're saying you're gonna store the stuff in the binders, in the basement, that's what you're saying. And when the date comes up, then you throw the papers away.
Okay.
So why are we
Yeah.
buying, my point is, why are we buying binders to put in the basement? Just stick them in the boxes now, in a manila folder or something, manila envelope or something like that.
Cause do you know how many there is? There's
Yeah, thousands of them,
Sure.
I know,
They don't fit in a manila envelope. You know how many manila envelopes I'd have to use?
boxes then. My point is, why
That's-
waste the money on the binders if you're just gonna put them downstairs and never use them again.
Because it's organization, it's easy to track, it's all that. Right, if they go back on the audit, we
The
can
audit-
go
the
and look.
audit They do for the year current, the
Yeah.
previous fiscal year, that's all they audit, because once that audit is complete, those are just.
Right, but you can go
Well,
back in there.
I don't know, you
so-
guys got any thoughts? I mean, I'd like to see about upgrading their computer. If high tech, we already paid the money to do it. And see if they can do it even more. You know, further upgrade instead of buying all new stuff again.
Well, regardless, I need another computer. Because two of us cannot work at the same time. And that kind of defeats the purpose.
Angie, do you have two computers for your?
Yes, she does.
I do, because during election time, Jennifer works on election stuff, I work on my stuff. I don't know what you need to have your deputy working on, because, I don't know, Phoebe always did the taxes and she only ever had the one, she didn't even have.
Well, it's just her, that's why. So,
So she had your deputy's got a screen on the desk?
she got an
How
actual
much are those?
computer.
Well, I don't know, there's monitors in the basement, we don't need a monitor.
No, the monitor, we don't need.
She just
You need
needs,
the
she needs a
computer.
tower. I would be more comfortable getting a tower that would be in her room on a table that can't be. Somebody
Well-
will come in and pick up and walk away with.
Nobody's gonna come in and pick
Well,
up and walk away.
that's
with it,
just-
But the laptop is more, is cheaper.
Well, I
And-
was surprised though, when I got those two new computers last year, they weren't as expensive. I would say if she thinks she really has to have one for her deputy, we need to get an actual price of a laptop from High Tech and a regular computer and see.
Not
how
buy
much-
it from High Tech, that's like outrageous.
No, it wasn't. That's who I got mine from. and
Well,
they
this
got
one's
that-
only $400 and
So
so
where
for
is it from?
$583.14.
Where is this price? We have nothing that shows that it's 400. Where's the,
No, but I would give you a receipt for it.
Well,
so did you
Let's-
buy it already?
I bought it
So
months
you
ago.
bought it
Yeah.
for yourself and now.
Right.
No, I didn't buy it for myself. I bought it back when Brad told me I could at the beginning when we first
I
hired
never
it.
said that.
And then he changed it.
I never said that.
So you did, but
Well, okay. I'm saying,
So-
this is my feeling.
So let's get more research done on that too and bring in the facts, the facts of the desktop computer as opposed to a laptop
No,
computer. Let's see. That's all I wanna see.
all the time. You guys wanna drag stuff on. We get
Okay,
nothing
can-
freaking ever finished around here. Everything gets
I-
tabled.
Can I
No,
say
can I
something?
finish my sentence, please? I don't interrupt you. I'm tired. Whatever. Go ahead, Angie.
All I was going to say is, I don't have a problem with her getting a calculator or something to store her documents in. My only problem on this list is the computer. I want an actual thing saying, this is how much a laptop would cost for the township to buy. This is how much an actual tower computer would cost. Because I know mine wasn't, I was shocked how reasonable it was getting it from High Tech. That's what I'd like to find out. I don't have a problem with the calculator. I get it. They're doing stuff, they need a calculator, and that other one broke.
Well,
I have a budget.
I just want more
I-
It's
facts.
in my budget.
On the finish with the laptop, it's a fact that she can work, just not have to come in here and work.
And I want that in writing, and I
Yes.
also want it,
It
and I
does,
also
yeah.
want.
Let me just finish. All I'm saying is she doesn't have, because I've talked to the deputy secretary of the county and there's treasurers in this county that work from home and have a secured box in their yard that's approved that people, the residents come and drop their taxes on. But what I'm saying is if that is true, then who supplies the appliances, the computer for her to work from home? I'd have to believe the township does.
Yes.
If she is allowed to do that, and the township said, and any of you, not to sir, you can work from home, you can work from home. It's just
So
like-
when,
But I'm
back
just-
in the day, everybody worked from home.
Right.
Pat was up from her house, I used to pay taxes at somebody's house. The whole idea of having a facility here was so that the board members that these people elected would be available to talk to.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, she's allowed, all of you allowed, so if that's true, I'm
Okay,
just wondering, I don't know, the question I have is who supplies her with the
Well, my,
Because at the township cost, if she could work remote, most likely I would say yeah.
And then my
my-
only other concern,
She would need a township computer.
Right, now
Okay.
would it be,
And I also think that we need to make sure that we have proper adequate computing power. Right, that can hold the systems and all that, and you guys contract high tech for those things. So whether or not you buy it through high tech or you get a list of like, this is the computers that you can get. It really needs to come from them because it's gotta be compatible with their security
Right.
systems, and everything else,
yeah,
right?
that makes sense.
But the same way you guys have these tablets, they have to be government issued computer,
Right,
right?
I would think,
Yeah.
yeah.
well, yes.
This laptop
and I
did
wouldn't-
have all the stuff from high tech on it, and then Brad had it removed in January off the computer, so that. I
You had
couldn't work
remote
from it.
service put on there that was,
So-
we were paying
Let's
extra
stay- let's
for.
just stay right here.
So,
but
Yeah.
my concern with, again.
If
and I
it's
know he's-
legal,
I know that.
Get the
he can-
documentation and I don't have a problem with it.
And you. here-
And she wouldn't have to come in off the,
We use that accounting and we share all that information. I just worry about, there's a lot of things on there that are secure. That has every one of us name, address.
And I brought that up
Social
and
security.
and I feel like that though with a volunteer going through the computer, it's same
They
thing.
can't access BSNA.
I
How
brought
do I
that
know
up
that?
and is that her
Who?
bond? Isn't that her insurance?
who can?
Yeah, my
I mean,
insurance, my
insurance
bond.
For
You
those
could do like a special like VPN
Yeah.
or.
Because that's my question. I said, if
She's only bonded for $125,000.
I'm just saying, if you have to figure, then I guess I'll call the county and ask, what is there
Yeah.
more liability insurance that has to be carried to work from home? Because in case there is theft, but they did
No,
state that
there's
there's quite a
not.
few treasurers that work from home, maybe come in
Yeah.
once a week, some don't come in at all. They don't need
And
to.
I know that's true, but the sad part of it is you lost touch with your.
I understand that, I'm just saying what, you know, what you
Because
can,
I
and what you
had
can't do,
no-
they're allowed to.
Right now, I'm just saying I want the laptop to have the option to have my deputy work when I'm here and she's here. And then, yes, a laptop would be great, because then if I do wanna work at home or do work from home, then I have that, I don't have to buy another computer.
Yeah. I think the laptop would be, right now, makes more sense.
But I understand, but just get the prices on the laptop, the tower, and then I guess what you have already, is that compatible with our networking, or is that, you know?
I bought it for here,
You bought
it
up a good-
stays here, I don't take, well, I do take it home once in a while. And it only has the township stuff on it, the program, I don't have a personal email, I bought it for this job.
Right, but and that's another Steve brought up, does it need to be government issue? I mean, there's like, you know, for your protection, or all of us, you know, can you
Well,
just pick
I
one
mean,
out?
government issued is just the government buying it for you.
Well, that's what I'm, yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Right,
I
that's
don't
what
know.
I'm saying, so I would give you the.
What
bill
about
for
like
it.
the malware and stuff like that? That's.
Right,
That's what you
Yes.
need to have put on there,
A
right? That's why I
VPN.
said you got,
Right.
you have to talk to, I think you need to talk to high tech. To just get the list of things, see what the quality of this computer is, you know, and then.
It's gonna be compatible.
If it's compatible, then you guys can make it, you know,
Yeah.
but.
So can you get us the information on your computer past the high tech, so they can say, yeah, this is
Yeah.
gonna work with our.
I picked it up Black Friday at half off, so it's a $800 laptop. I got
Well,
for
whatever,
400.
just, you know,
Yeah.
give them a breakdown.
You
and they
bought it
say,
last
yes, it's good
Friday,
to
you
go,
said?
and-
She said Black Friday,
Black
Relax.
not last Friday.
Okay, so we're gonna get more information, get some more figures together for next month,
Well,
right?
do we want?
Well, I
do
want
we
the other
okay
stuff
her getting-
right
Yeah,
now.
we
Like
get
the-
the- like you
the
said, the
other stuff,
calculator
like the
stuff.
Calculator,
What is that total would bring?
the calculator's $31.
It's $183.14.
For everything else?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so we want to make a motion to approve what?
Everything but the laptop on my purchase
So,
requisition form.
So, okay,
Now, you said that the.
who made the motion?
I did.
Um, To get
You said
everything,
something about the printing color there twice, so that doesn't change the total, but you had the printing.
No, I
color,
put it on there twice by accident,
But
so,
the totals are the same.
no, cause I didn't write amount after it.
Okay, I got
put it on the twice.
I put it right above the
Oh,
laptop,
yeah,
and
but
I
you didn't
put
put any,
it down.
you did,
No
Right.
price.
you wrote it down.
Yeah, I see it. Okay, so we're,
Okay, everything on the requisition form except the laptop are these prices correct? Like,
Well,
should I put
that's-
this total down, one
That
eighty-three,
is,
fourteen?
that is what it was when I looked it up on
Oh, you
Amazon.
just did it in May.
So.
Oh, this is not through Staples?
Nope, it's more expensive on Staples.
Okay.
It was cheaper on Amazon by like $45.
Okay, totaling 183.14. Who supported?
I'll support.
Okay, motion, supported, so Stan, what's your vote?
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Angie,
Yes,
Kim,
Yes.
Brad, no,
no?
okay, it passes, move on to the Clyde Township compensation for treasurer job. Okay, so what do you have for us for that?
She emailed you guys something.
Yeah.
Everybody got it from email?
Yeah.
I actually don't have the email.
I got it.
So, I'm not sure. So,
Give me a minute, I'll pull it up.
I got it right
Oh,
here.
yeah.
What do you wanna
Put it
know?
up.
I don't know if you asked the question.
Well, the question, well, you got a time card in here, what are you looking to get paid? What's your
Well,
thing
this
on
is
that?
her time card that she put in, and then she sent you guys a formal engagement letter. And she said she wouldn't even charge us for the April hours that she's already spent here. And she would do everything that's in her engagement letter. Again, I haven't looked at it.
Financial consulting of the tax roll collections, bank reconciliations, financial postings for the tax year 24. Summary of applicable corrections, tax revenue entries, final postings and or payouts. Final consulting to identify errors regarding reimbursements and disbursements related to tax year 24. Financial consulting to develop and provide a basic bookkeeping outline and procedures document that will detail the daily operations for tax collection, revenue receiving, bank reconciliation. And this is her property. We can't give it to anybody outside of this agreement. Bookkeeping work related to the correction of reconciliation reimbursements and distribution corrections. Bookkeeping work related to tax collections that include preparing entries and inputting of financial data to correct accounting errors. Bookkeeping work related to monthly reconciliations of the general ledger related to tax revenue specific to deposits and withdrawals in the tax account. This basically sounds like she's trying to correct.
Well, I've talked to her about
The general ledger.
That will be the general ledger.
That's
It will fix that.
specifically says tax account.
Well, the
this
tax
here-
account does the general ledger.
No.
So, yes, the bank account is reconciling the bank account is on the general ledger, Angie.
I
The
agree,
deposits are.
but it's not the tax account is a separate entity.
I
The
know
general
that,
ledger, she's correcting tax account,
but,
but the
and
general,
reconciling, and the reconciling is of the bank statements.
it's gonna be of the general ledger
Of the
then?
general ledger, yes.
Well, and you wanna tell them how much she wants?
Well, yeah, I spoke with her for a while about what she's gonna do and all that. Basically, alls we have done right now, what she helped you with the first 5 days. And actually, the last 5 days was to get you through December.
Yeah.
The banks are only reconciled through December. She spent 10 days here helping you do this, okay? She did agree to work for free at the beginning. And then she was reconsidering because it's gonna be so much time. She said she would forgive all the 10 days that she has contributed so far if we do this agreement. And this agreement is to do the scope of the records and the type of entries required, which means going through the whole job. She estimates the financial consulting work to not exceed 10 hours to complete. Estimates of separate bookkeeping, any corrections, adjustments will not exceed 20 hours. If the work is done concurrent, the cost for consulting and bookkeeping will be combined and billed at a singular rate of $200 an hour. She will only bill you for actual hours worked. Do require 20% retainer, be paid before work will commence, and the entire project will cost $6,000. In the event the engagement exceeds 30 hours, she will communicate with us to find out, if we want additional things done like that. Now, by what she said, with the hours she spent on what she's done already, she's not sure if she can actually get it done in that amount of time, but the goal is to get the books up to date for the last 5 months and put everything into place where it should be, all the bank reconciliations, the checks. She is gonna teach you everything to do with your job. So this is gonna be a one-on-one training, and it will get the job done. It will have your job completed when it's done. That means all the treasurer's duties will be up to date. And it's, like I said, it'll be a training process. She will show you how to do it, then you will do it 5 times, 10 times, whatever it takes. And then she'll show you
I
again,
understand.
and then
We've
she'll
already been
doing it.
So,
So this is what the objective is to get the work done, because we have a deadline on the 31st. Right, the end of this month, all this stuff has to be done. You got election coming up and taxes coming up again, and it's all gonna start all over again. So we're way behind, and I don't know if you guys wanna consider the 6,000 as opposed to paying the BSNA for almost 5,000, and you still won't have the work done. Another 1,000, you will have all the work done and personalized training. One-on-one, she's gonna show her how to do the job. You wanted training? This is the best training she's gonna get. It's gonna be actually doing the job, not going off to the conferences and things like that, just doing the job. It's gonna show her everything. So my recommendation is to go with Jennifer, or Jessica, I mean. But that's up to you guys. I'm just giving you my point of view. Discuss it, see what you wanna do.
$6,000 is a lot of money to
Pay
spend.
$2,000 a month already for a treasurer. We've been paying $2,000 a month for a treasurer who also has the privilege of having a deputy that she herself personally selected, who's supposed to do the work when she's not able to do it.
the meeting.
Mhm.
yeah, not any time for the public.
Okay.
But that is true.
So I'm-
We will be paying 3 people now to do the treasurer's job. Yes, that's how it's gonna
Or
work.
because this helps the residents.
Yes.
This helps the residents, it helps all of you. Whether you like the fee or not, it helps all of you, because the other side of it is you don't do it and it goes out of whack. We get it pulled away from us, and it could cost all your residents even more.
Well,
Very
you know,
simple.
It,
So that's
Specifically
where we're
says
at.
she's not gonna help during an audit. That's what it specifically says.
But if this, you know, reading
This-
this,
Yeah,
I'm for it.
here's the problem right now. We're 6 months into this term. Kim, don't be mad when I say it, but you just have not got it, and we're so far behind. And everything I try to tell you is not meant maliciously. I'm just trying to explain these things. Like you said to me the other day, I didn't know I was supposed to record the deposits. I've told you that many times. And
No.
again,
Every time I ask you, Angie, from the first day I started,
I
you
have
always
some-
say you don't know because.
No,
of
no,
the
no.
Do more
tax.
research
That is-
first, or-
that's
No, research, this is it.
that is about
So.
sending a tax notice.
That's what we got for,
I know.
The
two,
problem is, I do get it.
I got-
So,
I got three
I
late-
do get it.
I got 3 late notices again this week.
The problem is, any one of you go into a brand new job and have nobody show you how to do the software, nobody show you how to do anything. And then when you do it, and you don't do it the exact way, I still made deposits, didn't know that they had to be separated from a batch number to, there's no training involved at all, and you expect it to be done right the first time.
well,
So-
we spent money on your training. You can't deny that.
You did
Yes, MTA conference, that was, how much was that? $1,500?
balance, Brad.
Okay, but,
No, it's,
okay, Jessica's come and tried to walk you through it several times, and you're still struggling.
I'm not struggling.
I'm just gonna say this.
I'm not
6 months
struggling.
into a job in the private sector, this wouldn't cut it. I say you need to get trained.
Yeah,
That was last.
yeah.
If you get to train and we invest this much of the taxpayer dollars on top of the 32,000 that you're already getting, we darn well better get some return for our investment, because right now everything is in chaos. We can't get the audit done because you don't have the things ready to get to.
I do have the things ready, all
You
my
have
stuff
all,
is
you
ready.
have all the records.
You guys don't have your stuff all ready,
I
so,
had my stuff ready since.
so don't say that I don't have mine.
Do you have all, do you have
So-
the bank reconciliations of?
I don't have all the bank records.
Well, then you don't have everything ready.
Okay, all right,
So,
Angie,
okay.
all right, let's
That's
move on.
So what-
We know not everything's not ready, but the thing is, we're gonna make a motion to have the Jessica come out, hire her to do this.
We're having essential tax service.
Yes,
Are you making this motion?
I don't know, you can make the motion, but I wanna try and make a motion or get something going here.
Brad Baker.
Okay, your motion is to,
Is to have this essential tax service, which is Jessica, that's her business. Come out on the job, on-site training, and basically get the treasurer's job up to date, up to par. So that's 5 months worth of,
train the treasurer and get everything
train
current.
the treasurer for a job, basically, that's it.
Train the treasurer and get everything current.
And get everything current, so we
Okay.
can move on.
Okay. At a cost of,
Well, it's 6,000 right now. It's a 20% retainer fee, but it could be more, it could be less, but I'm anticipating more. And
But if it's more, it's something we have to vote on.
if it's more, she says right in here, if
Yeah.
it's more, she would,
yeah,
I read that somewhere.
So,
If it was more, she.
and if that's the case and this work isn't done by the 31st, then, you know, I don't want to have an emergency meeting, you know, special meeting, because that's just gonna go viral and everything is gonna be about this and that and the other thing. We make a decision right now. If it's more money, give me the authority to tell her yes, to continue on the job and get it done. That's what I want.
Okay, so we're just gonna put essential.
But
tax
she
service
talks to me.
Train the treasurer and get everything up, everything current. And give the,
If it exceeds the $6,000,
okay.
she's
and
gotta
give-
notify me.
yes, Give the supervisor.
Give me the authority to approve it
the
without the
authority to
board's
approve it
vote.
Goes over 6,000.
Yeah.
Is that how you want it to say? Give the
Because it's gotta
supervisor-
get done.
Amazing new employees struggle when you fire on everything from training to a bind.
All right, keep your comments to yourself, please, sir. That's the motion. Is there any second?
I'll second.
Okay, let's vote. Kim,
Yep,
Stan,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Angie.
Who made this, who supported Jared? I didn't make that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say yeah. I'm not happy about this. I need the order again. I didn't. get
Uh,
that.
I think it started with Stan, I don't know.
I said Stan, Jared.
Okay, Dudek, Green.
Yes, Kim, yes, you.
Okay, I just wanna get this worded right, so you want, if you want everything get everything current and give the supervisor authority to allow. Allow spending over the $6,000 if necessary.
Yeah. Within reason. I mean, you know, I'm not gonna give her another $5,000 or nothing like that. I mean, if she's got a few more hours and it's gonna cost another $1,000, it's worth it. You know, this township's finances right now, pardon me?
Some capital 1,000 and I.
We could write that down, but the biggest thing is we don't get this done. This township is already in a mess,
But I
a
think.
pickle according to somebody else. We are in a
I
pickle right
think
now,
if-
so
if we're not.
we're on a time crunch
The county comes in.
and we need to get this resolved, that's all, so.
Right.
It's waiting on your vote and my vote, so,
Well, I said yes, I guess.
okay, yes, then I vote yes, motion passes. All right. Mail service for summer taxes estimates. Let's hear that one. I don't know what that's about.
so just like the assessing uses KCI to, do their mail service. This is the same thing, but it's a local lady. And, she sends out all our tax bills, she prints them, folds them, puts them in envelopes, pays the stamps, and sends them out for $1,950.
That's
Just to give,
nowhere on here does it have a cost.
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. I thought it had it on there, but
So-
here it is, right here.
So why do we want her to do that job?
Because it is actually gonna be cheaper for us to hire them to do it, because I spent $1,700 in just postage last year. Or for winter taxes.
Well,
So-
there's a
so
reason
you're
for that
talking-
too.
But there aren't 2,500 tax bills.
Well,
There was
you
the
went
mistake
over
made
that.
last year that cost us hundreds of dollars, so.
I did 27.
I'm not in for that.
2,700.
But if you do the zero tax ones, that's.
But I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I mean, she
So-
told you for 2,500.
Yeah,
It's
because
not
that's what
gonna
I
be
told her.
that.
If it's not that many, then it comes down. But again,
I am like.
I don't-
it's not going to be, you're not gonna buy the envelopes, the paper, the ink. And a folding machine, because ours already died, for $200.
Well, how much is it gonna cost us? How about, let's find that out.
Quote is 1,950. She didn't give us that.
Well, that's the quote for that, but how much is it gonna cost us? Cause you're on a salary. So how much is it gonna cost us for the
Well,
materials?
I don't, we got all the
We don't have the-
envelopes,
we
all
don't-
the paper.
I know,
all
how
the-
much? That's all we wanna know.
I
We
don't
wanna
know
see the
the correct-
figures.
No,
Well, I know, but this is the information,
But-
we need to make a good decision.
okay.
Okay,
no,
you're bringing a
it
quote,
costs more than $200.
Well-
I can tell you that for positive.
but they
sure.
want $1,900 or $2,500, so.
Oh, 250. It'll cost more than $250 for the other supply.
Let me see.
Not a doubt in
I
my
don't
mind.
understand what you're saying. It'll
I don't
cost more
either.
than 250.
You got a quote here for almost $2,000.
Postage, I spent on postage last year.
But you bought stamps.
So
because you're
where's
printing them.
$200? I don't understand where the $200 is
Because we
coming
didn't
in.
have a credit card to put the postage on. It's
Well,
Gonna reduce rate.
yeah,
Use the postage meter.
Okay,
that's fair enough, but I still can't use the postage machine to do all your taxes because it overheats or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You
give a
can
box at
use
a
that
time,
machine.
a day and then wait.
I don't know. That's what I was told.
well,
So-
this here, $2,000 almost is to fold, stamp,
1950,
and deliver, mail all the things.
everything, it's
to do-
postage,
To do the
everything.
job that you used to do. Or,
Well,
you-
no, it's still the job I do,
okay,
but it's saving us money.
but where's the savings? That's
cheaper.
what I'm trying to ask you. Where's the
So,
savings? It's
What
gonna
I'm
cost
trying
you,
to tell you, you're not
Is this a
listening.
lady
Tom.
doing it out of her house?
No, she owns a business
Oh, because
in
it-
Marysville. So, and we're not to buy all this, all the envelopes, all the paper, the ink, and the and a folding machine because ours was dying at the last
all right, just explain the money. I'm having a hard time figuring out what you're talking.
but you, and so you're not understanding it.
Right, $200 is what you're saying it's gonna cost.
$250 more just in what I spent on postage last year. You're not gonna get everything I just listed again for $250.
Well, last year,
No, it's at her house.
there was
Okay,
more,
well, and maybe it is. All I know is all the assessors use. it.
last year there was more, some people were billed twice, mailed out twice, and there was a lot of extra costs. So you really can't base it on what you spent last year. I mean, we know what happened. There was some glitch that went on there and people got mailed their bills twice. They got the
No, I don't
taxes
do that.
taken out of there twice and
Yeah,
cetera, et
taxes
cetera.
taken out, but not mailed out.
See, I would feel better if you had gotten us a quote
Okay.
from KCI because they're
Yeah.
actual, this lady's doing it out of her house.
This lady does it all over this county. In fact, the assessors gave me her number. Christine did.
No, that
That's how
surprises
it's-
me, because Christine, they just, we.
I know
use
Christine
KCI.
uses,
No,
um,
she does not, they use KCI.
Casey, I know, you didn't let me finish. I say Seth used KCI because he told me about it, but she actually said a lot of her other assessors, friends or whatever, uses this lady. I don't know.
How much did previous treasurer spend on a tax service to do that portion of the job?
We're in a board meeting.
Good question.
They didn't,
So
they did it in house.
including your
Right.
you're still
Right.
paying, that you guys aren't understanding
So-
that you're already spending the money. It's just a cheaper rate for it, regardless.
But you're using skewed numbers. That's my point.
excuse me.
Yes,
I'm going off what I knew from the last tax.
I know, but like, again,
I understand what Kim is saying.
I do
Because it has to
too.
be sent out regardless. I think the problem here is we're feeling overwhelmed by all the financial requests. We've now just agreed to over 6,000 for Jessica. We agreed to buy you some supplies. Now we're doing this and you want to.
The supplies I put in for in February,
Well,
never got it.
But,
So-
but you understand, it's all in one big lump today and it sounds
Yeah, it is.
a lot.
But here's the thing, we get into summer taxes and all that has to be done next month. So again, we don't have time to keep waiting till everything. So we're either gonna buy everything separate, and I'll do it, I don't have a problem doing it. But it's gonna cost us a lot more money for me to do it or to pay someone else to do it.
Yeah.
Because she gets a bigger discount on postage because she does so much. She buys 25,000 stamps at one time.
Well, I can't see the savings myself, but
Needed next month, or is it not needed until October, November?
Oh, it's needed next month.
no, everything's always the next month. That's the problem. We don't have no time to study this stuff or do more research. You know, I would like to go ahead and see how many people we actually send taxes to. Buy the envelope or check the prices right now. Check the stamps, check the envelopes, check the paper, whatever it is that we need and get a price.
Angie,
But
you
we
told
don't
me-
have
you
nothing to
know what
compare it
it's
to.
about?
Who told me she sent out 1,800?
Okay.
Wow.
Refer to last year's. budget, see how
1,800,
much they
but
spent.
last year, how many did we send out?
20. what'd you say?
700,
You said
2747.
Okay,
2,747.
so almost 1,000 over.
So we have to say that that cost would be lower because. you spent
Yes, that's my
That many more
point.
stamps, that many more envelopes, that much more paper.
What,
And
for
again,
this,
if it's not priced out for, if I have 2,500 on there, and if we don't need 2,500, then it's gonna come down.
No. You get that?
But the problem too. Print double-sided tax bill, it's not double-sided, it's only one side.
No, it's double-sided, because when you fold it, it has the address on the side.
No, because it goes like this. It goes like, when you put it through the folding machine, it does this.
Oh, yeah, you might be right.
I am.
Mhm.
Green perforated paper,
Green.
well, that's.
You can
just
pick
the-
whatever
yeah.
color you want.
We did yellow for summer, blue for winter, just so people know, oh, it's yellow, that means it's my summer tax bill. They're mailed first class bulk, and first class stamps as needed. If you mail bulk, is a return postage guaranteed?
Yes. And she gives you a printout of everything that she mailed out and the date, and it's checked off by the post office.
Database from treasurer must be received 2 weeks prior to the mail drop date, so you have to do that in June. Tax bills must be in alphabetical order and in PDF form and must be received 1 week prior to drop mail date. What does she mean by tax bills? Are you printing the tax bill?
No, I send her the database for the tax bills. She prints them all. She folds them all. She
Any
envelopes
delay in
them all.
receiving assessments within 7 days, right? This has, assessors must confirm via email. the drop
Well,
date.
because all the assessors use them for,
Oh, so that's
uses her
just-
for, so that's
just
probably
generic.
just something she puts on there. I don't care, I don't mind doing it myself, I'm just saying that it's cheaper to have somebody like that do it than it will be for us to buy a new folding machine, buy all the stamps, buy all the paper, buy all the envelopes. That's the only thing, so you want me to do it, I'll do it, I don't really care. It's fine.
Okay. I want
is
you-
there any
I want
way
you to do
the
it.
postage machine buying ink for that or buying allotment, how much can you buy
What, for the postage machine?
for the postage
It's just
machine?
an ink cartridge and then we just put the postage on with the credit card.
You can't buy it bulk then.
Well, you do get.
No, we get 3 cents off right now.
3 cents off.
Yeah, and this lady gets way more off because she buys, like I said, 25,000 at a time.
Yeah, but we don't know how much.
This is if they're an ounce or less, but then.
First class bulk postage rates offer a discount for mailing of 200 or more pieces. It can be a discount of 20 to 65% off standard first class
There
rates.
you go.
There you
So
go.
we could do it ourselves, right?
I don't know, do it for lunch, make a lunch.
I believe you just have to make sure
Purchase
you're
it, right?
putting in that kind of bulk, 200 pieces or more.
And we could. So where are we at with this? Are we tabling that, or what are we gonna do with this?
I think we should do it here and then keep record of the actual cost.
And then see it.
And
talk
then
about
look at
again
it, you
before
know,
we-
was it worth it?
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, we can, yeah. we can
That's
table
what
it
I would
whenever
rather
you
do
want.
too.
That company, that Spectrum, they're way cheaper.
So I
than
put a
anything
motion
else.
to,
We don't have to put a motion,
you know,
we're not.
leaving it?
Table
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Move on.
We'll just-
Okay. So we're good with that, right?
I think so.
H, service dog information. Okay, what do you got for us there besides this little card right
Yeah,
here?
that's all you really get for that. Know that she'll be coming in, here and there, because she's now 6 months old, and her training begins now, and she has to get used to people.
So, we are allowed to ask that you do not have a physical disability, correct?
You cannot ask me that.
Yes, I
No,
can.
you can't. There's
Is
2
this-
questions you can ask, and they're on this.
Is this service dog for you?
This service dog is for me. You can ask me the
I'll
2
get
questions on
required
there.
Because of a okay, if,
This dog is required for disability.
all right, so,
Those are the questions. If this dog is required.
so
for disability-
rephrase it. Is it required for a disability?
Yes,
Okay. What work or task does this dog, perform? You said it's not even trained yet.
no, I said she's going into training.
So she's not
Correct.
trained yet. That's what I'm saying.
That's
Okay.
what I'm saying. She has to be trained to start at 6 months old. They start with acclimating to people, to going places, to noises, to cars, to all that stuff. And she is trained, will be trained to perform, my sugar. So just wanted to let you know she'll be coming in and out here and there. Not all
So-
the time, not every day, just here and there.
The way I understood it, through all this paperwork we researched, that the dog needs to be trained first.
Nope, not true. Dog has to be trained, and you can't begin the training until 6 months old. And that is part of her training, is being socialized with people.
So this all of a sudden happened where you have to have this dog now?
You can't ask me that, so no, I'm not answering it.
So, again, what task does the dog perform?
I
What
just
is she
told
gonna
you.
do to
I just told
notify
you.
you of sugar? What is she gonna do?
Just told you, she will notify me of sugar.
How does she do that?
Again, it doesn't matter how she does it. You can't ask me that, Brad. It's HIPAA.
Okay,
You can't.
let's just
It
stop.
says
So
it
you
right
asked
there.
me
just
2
gonna-
things,
are we
I
ju-
told you the
Is
answer,
there,
that's
is
it.
there a, is this, just making a comment, or is there a vote going on, what are we
I
doing?
think we should vote.
There's
There's
not
nothing to
vote or
vote.
anything,
Yeah,
I
there's
was
nothing-
just doing
it's
it
okay.
for information.
That it's
Just
known.
Let know,
Okay,
So-
no,
before I brought her in, that's all.
okay, it's no, it's going to the next one.
Well, make sure that the dog is collared, leashed, and stays in your room. You are supposed to be in control of the animal at all times. and not running around in the office or anything else.
I know
That
what
means
has to do with her.
in
and
your
we'll be
office.
done
Do
with
not
that.
bring the dog out for
Yes,
anybody
she
else.
can. She can come.
Other
out.
people have allergies or whatever to the dander and
She
stuff
does
like
not.
that.
She's a non-hypoallergenic dog
All right,
and
Okay, let's move
let's
on.
move on,
Whatever.
one more.
We got next, Brad.
Oh, MTA charges.
That was the very last page. It was an invoice that came in the mail, we don't know what it went to. Do I look at mine? Your name on it, but.
I know, but it's not, it's
That's
not
what-
mine.
Well, that's what I was asking, because I got that one in the mail and it didn't say your name on it, but that one came, and then there was another one came.
It was,
And it had your name on it, but it was for their two training, because it was 150 each, so it was their workshops. That one, I have no idea what that's for.
Looks like the.
it says
something.
books, package for
But
trustees.
For who? Who ordered
Well-
those? Who authorized those? Yeah, see, I don't know. I have no idea.
The policy matters, I think that was, I don't know.
Anybody?
Trustees Guide to
Anybody?
Township
Tell me now.
Government.
Cause I don't wanna pay it if it's not something we offer.
Yeah, I don't even.
I mean, I could call there and ask them, but since my name's on it, but I don't know what it's for.
If they're books, where are these books?
Well, that's what I mean.
Alright,
Yeah, I don't have anything.
'Cause I did get 2 books up there, about, planning commission. They're the up-to-date ones, but I thought they were like $37.
I don't know what this.
Yeah,
All right, maybe Kim, you could just call and find out.
I
so
will.
we'll know.
I'll call.
And ask if they know who
And
got them.
I'm gonna give it, Matt Key shortly. I've been reading it over. And the second one I'll read when I'm off work. And then I told him I'll make them available to everybody on the planning commission. Cause they're the up-to-date books. They're very good. And just for the note, Todd Siska just found this outside.
It was actually in the vestibule.
Oh, somebody must have dropped it. I'll give it to Justin.
Okay. We'll find out about.
Yeah,
the
we'll find
teacher.
out then and then we'll.
I have one more motion I'd like to make. That all special meetings be at 7 PM.
I'll second that.
All right, Jared,
Have
what do you
other
got?
Discussion?
vote wise?
Yeah,
No.
okay. Stan,
Yes,
Angie,
No.
Kim,
Yes,
Brad, no, motion fails. Okay, any board discussion left?
yes.
You had your motion, what else?
There's something to talk about. Bell River Winery sign. Did not apply for a permit last time I heard. So do we have a permit? Cause they have a sign up.
No permit, they're going through the ordinance to check that, and that should be with the planning commission next month. He was supposed to do it this month, but
We have the-
he refused to do that job as I asked him, so nothing got finalized on that sign, so. It's up for now, there is no definitive answer on that question. Anything else?
have you hired anybody? That you had on there, about zoning enforcement? Or enforcement
Zoning
officer?
enforcement? You mean blight inspector?
Yeah,
No. Nobody's came forward with an application, or they don't wanna do the job, so no. No one's done that. We have an opening for planning commission.
Somebody who applied for the planning commission.
Well, that's the planning. I'm talking
Yeah, but
about
you
the
were
blight.
supposed to appoint somebody for the planning.
I know, but I've had, well, they still don't know what they wanna do yet. I have 2 people, okay? One possibly for zoning board, one possibly for the planning commission. I still have to talk to them a little more and see if they are want to do the job or whatever, but that's all I got so far. So,
Are you looking for zoning? Maybe I'll, come talk to you tomorrow.
Didn't you already on the ordinance officer one though?
I talked to him once already about it, but. He never got back to me. You remember?
I don't know.
yeah, I remember you're supposed to come in and talk to me again too, but I never did that, so.
Is there any way for, any, is that snow plowing? I was just, I thought stand on, when we do snow plowing and.
They
What do they
always,
charge for that, you know?
not off the top of my head, they
A
were.
lot.
Is there any way is there any way you could find out if the park, you just go over here and plow it in minimal fee or just do it? I mean, they plow over there, how hard is it to jump over here and plow?
He left, I don't
I mean,
know,
maybe we look into that, see if it'd be cheaper or maybe it'd be
Yeah.
free.
I mean.
I don't think it'd be free, but-
It's taxpayer tax.
But I can call Brad and
Yeah,
ask
and
him.
just see, because we only just snowplow this place, right?
Correct, we don't do
You
the
don't do the
park
park,
and we don't do the
so-
cemeteries, and we had one person ask if we plowed the cemetery, but we don't.
What about
But when
in
there's a,
necessity for
when
funerals?
there's a funeral, Dan does it for free for us, when he
Okay.
goes to dig the grave, he just drops his blade and does it for
I
free.
was just wondering if, you know, they're right there.
I
don't know if
can-
they-
I
Well, the thing is, tell them we donated you the barn.
Oh, I told him that at the planning commission meeting, and he goes, I know, oh, that other guy, that Delore guy.
Right.
He goes, I know, so I'll call Brad, cause I gotta send
You
him a
know,
check. Yeah,
And
see if he could give us. They probably use the county, right?
I don't know, I don't know.
yeah, it'd be, they got that green truck that runs around, it's got a blade on it,
Good
you know.
idea.
Jared brought that up. I go, why not? We'll
Yeah.
find out if the,
We can find out.
Just one last thing too, for board discussion, I am gonna be changing the banks. Or the bank from First State because they charge us way too much in fees. And, I have a deal worked out with North Star, which also has our CDARs. And, I'll be more than happy to tell anyone on the board what that deal is, but.
Well, I don't think we can make that decision unilaterally, because that's something we all have a say in. We've got that money invested there, and there are a lot
Actually, it
of,
does say
there are a
I
lot
can
of
do that.
extraneous things here. I've got thousands of checks. We've got the things set up to pay out of that. There's more than just, I'm gonna take my $10 from this bank to this bank. We're talking thousands and hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, and they're charging us hundreds of dollars for fees that we should not be
oh,
paying.
yeah. these
I
are
don't
the terms.
remember there being
Okay.
excessive fees before.
There is. Did you know they charge us fees to deposit cash? So, who ever heard of such a thing?
So we done? I make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
All right, Jared, Stan,
Yeah.
Kim,
Yep.
Angie. Adjourn. Yes, I say yes, and meeting adjourned.
I don't know what order we did that in.